15 minutes before Morton begins, 20
Chance is the 14th. Oh. Yeah, can you just turn your camera over for me for a second? Okay. Just have a little present to show the gaffer, you know. Don't know whether he can see that or not.
morning over beside gas, is it? Because there's a gaggle of athletes over that place. Okay, that's this on four. Is that enough start, do you think, from those starters? Am I far enough back, or do you need to go a little bit more? Right. Do you want me to go through? Remember last year we went go one to each athlete as we went to do the same again this year? Yeah. Okay. Better on four. You're okay.
They're going to stay up there and practice it.
Is it the fog? Yeah, because that's the very end of the track for me. If I zoom back out real quick, am I okay to do that? One check.
They need to come over.
I'm gonna run back.
I have to give you your
Well, you've got 2 packs. It's your relay.
then JP, then Eve, then Ben, then Mia, then Olivia. photograph over here.
I'm going to drop the bottle, or like switch hands and never got it. I'm going to drop her out. I'm going to drop it and everyone's going to like nice and slow.
So come here, right, come on in here for a sec, just sandwich up till we get a last one.
Don't move out of your line, stay in the line.
Go back into your line, yeah. Yeah, you can come down here, pull in through your balance, you can all
Very grand. 400 seconds. So I can't say you got it. But you held the ring. But then you held the ring for trying to walk. So am I right?
Best of luck to you.
been here more just last year. Specifically, showing the very clear information. Since the role of and these leading the day, that is really it's great to see that kind of support being rewarded. To facilitate officials, the overall start of this Fingal contest 16 by 100 metres. Kiernan and below both start and then 1, plus and then 2 on themselves. The East Showers with Hammer and then 3. Series and then 4 on themselves. Blackrock and DCH share and then 5. Dublin and 6 on themselves. Then 7 share and Javelin and the Interclub on today this evening again. And all along the 8. That's on the Fingal sponsor 16 by 100 metres. So we might like to be there. First time I saw that conference, and then I think here in our stadium. Representing Canada, the education should enter the restaurant for them in this tournament, maybe 6 to 7 years ago. Over 260 years. Really, really, 4-year champion. This is the first year from County Down are out in 8 minutes.
Please show me that. Please show me that. I want to see that.
So close we hope you enjoyed the chaos that's going on in minutes. There's a 16 right on here, there's a left here right on the outside. And then on the hand here, it takes the back line, they take here. And you need to jump on hand here, Jake. It's like you go, right on the outside. And they can take the back forward, they can do it on the outside, so you can go to the soft forward, and all the back and change, you can have to happen. Or you will get a great thing to maybe the outside 5 minutes, I hope, on this stage. Or the change, or the 16 for the stretch of the club with Juvenile now. And it looks like we've been here there in the main two that can deal with this fact as well. Thank you. We have the games of time more recently. Usually coming up there, we've been very, very well. They're up the line with the white of the blue. They've been doing very well in competition. And off they go in the match is against them. So the ball's not here. That was the idiot. Thanks a lot, you. And the third,
Well, the weather may not have played its part, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have a great night of athletics, both on the track and field here in Santry. It's got a rich history, this event, and tonight that rich history may be added to, another few chapters may be written. It is the Morton Games, and your commentary team are Jared O'Donnell and Cathal Dennehy.
Good evening and welcome to a very damp Morton Stadium for the 2023 edition of the Morton Games, a World Athletics Continental Tour bronze meeting for the first time this year. We've got a cracking 2.5 hours coming up. I am Cathal Dennehy. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by my long-term sidekick, Jared O'Donnell, an 8-time champion of Ireland in the sprint hurdles. Jared, we've got a whole lot of great action coming up on the track tonight, and we're going to start with some sprints.
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see on the camera in the background, the rain is lying on the track, but things are drying up here, and we see today's schedule up on screen. So those high jumps kicking off at 6:45 at the same time as those men's 100 metres sponsored by Athletics Leinster. Heats of those hundreds and those finals kicking off later on. But you can see it's going to be a really packed timetable here, as always, Colin. And there's action and superstars right the way through that programme.
There really is. A lot of Ireland's best are here at Morton Stadium, going up against all comers from all around the world, from Liberia to Australia and everywhere else across the United States. Here's the concluding action, the final hour of the programme, and as always we will end with the Commercial Hygiene Services Men's Morton Mile. We've seen some absolutely unforgettable editions of that over the years, and I'm sure tonight will produce another cracker. We have a sub 350 miler here in Morton Stadium, the place where the world record was once set many, many decades ago by the great Herb Elliott, and we have an Australian in Jai Edwards who's gone not just sub 4 but sub 350.
Yeah, it's always the event that really kicks things off here, and it starts the summer for a lot of athletes, and for some it's going to be the highlight of their summer. And you can see just in the number of names that return here every year, Carl, that it's really a highlight meet every year. And you can just see those 100 metre sprinters getting themselves warmed up. We had a 16 by 100 metre relay just finishing up, and some of those athletes are leaving the track, but those sprinters trying to clear that water off the track, the puddles in their spikes, but they'll be ready to run fast and get themselves into that final later on this evening, which is the main thing, Carl, and try and put down some fast times, try and beat that track record that Johan Blake set here at this very meet a number of years ago. We've got a relayed track, so in case you think your eyes are deceiving you, it was red this time last year and for the last 10-12 occasions with that previous Mondo, but we've got the blue Mondo out here, new ownership in the stadium, and it's been resurfaced and it is fast.
I certainly hope so. Not very Jamaican weather though, Ger, on the north side of Dublin. It has kind of not really stopped raining all day, but it has stopped in the past hour, mercifully for these sprinters, and we see the lineup for the high jump, because they're also going to get underway simultaneously. We'll probably be soon concentrating on the 100 once we get over onto the track, but we will get straight back to those 2 high jumps that will be ongoing over the next hour as well.
Yeah, it's the Eunice bike on the screen just as we lose that start list, but we can get our full lineups and start lists and live results on live.athleticsIreland.ie, so keep up to date with all that field event action as well as the track results. We see the women's high jump up there on screen, and the top 2 on the list are 2 Irish ladies, Ava Rochford and Dana Keeley. We've got Annabella Neto, Imogen Skelton, Emily Whelan, Pippa Rogan, Summer Leckie and Erin Shaw. So we have Summer Leckie there, of course, a former international medalist, silver medal at the World Juniors, that 190 jump. She'll be looking to get back to her best here today in Morton Stadium, and we round that out with Urta Baiskaita. She's a 191 competitor at her best, 186 this year so far, 4-time national champion from Lithuania.
You can see there are multiple layers as those athletes warm up.
Yeah, just getting another look at that men's list there, so the men to watch out for in this one. We've got a very talented list, but Jeff Vermeyen there is 224 this year. Sotil and Lynx are both over 225 as season's best, so we don't quite have a 230 man yet, but there's certainly some lads in the mid to high 220s, so it's going to be a really interesting competition. And those 2 high jump pits, as you can see, side by side, get lots of energy going up there for those field events. And our first track action call ready to kick off. Those sprinters, as we said, standing behind their blocks. Looks like we have an absentee in lane 3, Chris Sabanda, and no show so far. You can see Heat 2 is just walking up the inside, but we've got Ken Monwera of a local club, Metro St Bridget's. Chris Sabanda seems to be absent on our shot. The Clonlift man, the local club here. Carlos Nascimento, Joshua Asapardi, Rivaldo Roberts. He'll be a real man to watch in this, as will Subasiso Matsenjwa. Those two men in the middle are the men to beat, possibly in the final once they get themselves safely through. Joseph Ojawumi of Tala AC in Dublin, Adam Murphy of Tinryland, and Anthony Dillon of Dunleer AC. So Ojawumi was part of that 4x1 team with Ireland, as Chris Sabanda was, who won at the European Team Championships a couple of weeks ago out in Poland. It looks like lane 3 is empty, but certainly there. 10.09 Rivaldo Roberts this year, season's best, bronze in those South African Championships. And you've got the likes of Akani Simbini there in South Africa, Cahill as perennial sub 10 man. That's no mean achievement.
Will this be the year where Akani Simbini gets on a global podium? Perhaps. Been short many times, very close. Rivaldo Roberts, the man to watch there in lane 6. Top 4 automatically through to the final later on. It's a 10 lane track here, so we'll have 2 non-automatic time qualifiers in addition.
Yeah, so in Nascimento, Azopardi, Roberts and Match Senwa, we're looking at 10.13, 10.25, 10.09, 10.22 on personal best, but certainly Roberts is away and clear on season's best at 10.09. The Irish men, those relay men, Joseph Ojawumi there in lane 8, 10.44 is best, and Adam Murphy in big PB shape, over 100 and 200 this year. We'll be looking to see what he can do here against this international class field. And we are cleanly away, and in the middle those 3 men are moving well. Rivaldo Roberts has got a bit of work to do to get himself through here. He is pushing way into the lead here now. Nascimento in 3 trying to keep with him, and the 2 boys in the middle lanes. The wind says plus 0.8, but I'm not sure that is quite accurate, but it looks like it was. In fact, Roberts that came through took that from Joshua Azapardi, the Australian. And we just kind of get a look at our replay to see who picked up the rest of the qualification spots. It is the first 4 into the final for both of these heats, and then 2 time qualifiers. But it went as expected there, Cahill. Those fast men in the middle got the job done. They'll be looking to move a lot quicker when it comes to that final. We just see that replay there. So in lane 6 it was Roberts, went right the way to the left there as he came out of the blocks at the start, and Azopardi, the Australian, there to his right on screen, trying to stick with him. Matsenjwa had a bit of work to do in that second half of the race. I think he thought it was going to be a lot easier than that. Joseph Ojawumi certainly put it up to him. He was right on his shoulder for most of that race, but I'm sure he got himself comfortably clear and through.
Great stuff. Very composed running there from Rivaldo Roberts from 60 metres onwards. I think he knew he could shut it down and just coast to the finish as we switch over to the high jump.
That is Ava Rochford, as we mentioned earlier, the Irish athlete. She's a very accomplished pole vaulter as well. She's jumped 180 in the past, I believe, so she'll be looking to get up towards that PB again today and get herself up towards the podium.
Yeah, 0.8 the wind reading there, but just looking around Morton Stadium here down the back straight, there's certainly a significant tailwind, and it'll be on the backs of the 200 metre runners as they run around that final bend, but there's not much indication. I think it does look like a headwind up the home straight, so I wouldn't trust that there's a supporting wind here for the sprinters.
Yeah, flags on the back straight are fully blown in the opposite direction, so those 400s come later on. It'll be on their back down the back straight. But you can see Heat 2 getting themselves ready here into the blocks. You can see the water still lying on the track, but the skies are clear, so hopefully that water will leave us as the evening goes on, and we'll see some fast times certainly when we get to these finals of the sprints. There is the start list for Heat 2. Yeah, we've got Leo Morgan, as I said, Clonlift Harriers, the local club here, the residents. You can see it on the orange in the top right of your screen on their clubhouse. Jesse Osas of Ratoac AC. We've got David Morgan Harrison from Great Britain. Ipul Takeda, he's the indoor champion from Japan, 60 metre champion that is, PB of 10.22 this year so far. He'll be a man to watch in this one, as well. Micaiah Harris, 4th at the NCAAs last year, over 200, so the man from Texas University, he'll be looking to get himself safe through that final as well. We've got Franco Florio in lane 7 beside him. Then another local man, or 2 local men, Michael Farley, Rahini Shamrock, and Keith Pike of Clonlift Harriers AC, 2-time indoor senior 60 metre champion from Ireland also. So once again, Colin, we're looking at lanes 4 to 7 here, the international athletes as they are. We've got 10 2s and 10 1s there, national record holders from Argentina. So it'll be a really hot contest in that heat. So as we see, Heat 1 qualification, those top 4 from the middle lanes, Roberts, Azapardi, Matsenjwa, Nascimento safely through, and then we've got small queues all the way down until we get to see what the second heat brings us.
It's just Ojawumi and Murphy there with the small cues. But the top four have no need to watch this second heat, although I'm sure they will, and suss out the competition for the final, which will be coming up at 8:25. So about an hour and a half for these athletes to, well, cool down and then warm up again. If they ever got warmed up tonight, as we switch over to the high jump.
That is, looks like number 6, Annabella Neto.
It is 15-time national champion in Portugal, counting indoors and out.
Yeah, 185 at her best, 184 this year, so very close to that personal best. Let's see what you could do here.
Not an ideal night for high jumping, Ger.
No, it's going to be...
Not sure it's an ideal night for anything, but certainly not for twisting around and hoisting yourself up over a bar.
No, certainly going to need the spikes on those heels of their shoes tonight to get the grip. Going to have a wet sector up there. We just see another clearance there. Let's just see who that is for us. It looks like Imogen Skelton of New Zealand, 182 this year. She's bronze medal at the National Championships in New Zealand this year, and 4th at the Oceania Championships last year, so very talented athlete also as well. 186 at her best, up to 182 so far this year. You can see Leo Morgan there, the local man of Clonmel Harriers, on screen. They're back behind their blocks, out of their kit, and ready to go here. Someone's Jesse Osas, the under-18 record holder from Ireland as of last month, for 10:51. He'll be looking to get back down towards that best and get himself a small queue for that final. So 10:91 is in the second of the small queue spots at the minute. So for outside top 4 here, that's what we need to beat, but it's going to be very, very hard to beat those 4 men in the middle.
Yeah, certainly Micaiah Harris, anyone who finishes 4th in an NCAA sprint final, you know, has true world-class talent. Look out for him in lane 6. But Ipel Takeda of Japan will certainly not go down without a fight.
I haven't seen a huge amount of Takeda in the past, but I imagine if he's the 60-metre champion from Japan, he's going to be lightning out of these blocks. And like we said, top 4 to get themselves safely through, so I'm sure they'll be keeping their powder dry a little bit in these heats. But there is work to be done when the weather is like this to make sure you don't take your foot off the gas too much, because the conditions are not quite playing ball for fast times as of yet. Get themselves into that final and later on take the foot off the gas and let rip. See those Ireland flags in the background billowing. Morgan Osas, Morgan Harrison, Takeda Harris, Florio Farley and Pike. And we're cleanly away. The man from Japan is flying it. He is absolutely ripping down that track. Harris is going to need to do a little bit of work to get back up into place here. Morgan Harrison going very, very well. And the man in lane 7, that is Franco Florio, comes up there for 4:10.46. And we've got a plus 0.8 on the clock again as wind, but or minus 0.8, apologies. Yeah, it's certainly doing a lot more than that, but a very comfortable win there. And as we said, once Takeda left those blocks, there was no catching him whatsoever.
Takeda takes off. That was very impressive out of the blocks. His acceleration phase there, as predicted by Jared O'Donnell. You know a good 60-metre runner when you see one, but he certainly ran a good 100-metre race there. You can see him switch off. He'd look to his left, he looked to his right. Pure relaxation, textbook sprinting as you see him coming out there with the head down.
Yeah, the man in the middle in the yellow in lane 5. Once he got out, 30 metres in, he knew he had his work done for this heat. Looks around him, 60 metres in, he knows his job done. Morgan Harrison beside him went very well. His work done at 50 metres as well, as did Micaiah Harrison. Franco Florio, a little bit more work to do. The man, national record holder, 10:11 at his best from Argentina, gets himself safely through. And we see Dana Keeley there going clear. What would be her first height in the high jump. Don't quite have the board up yet. Coffey's just going to pull up the results for me. Like I said, live.athleticsIreland.ie is where you can get all the results from tonight's meet. And keep yourself up to speed with those field events actions as they go on in the background of our track action. To see more action here from the women's high jump. Looks like an Australian best to me.
Which would be Erin Shaw, who was a best of 190. She gives that a rattle as it goes over, but it stays on. I'm sure she'll be keen to get off that mat quickly and make sure that that is valid jump, and indeed it is. She's over.
Yeah, 4th at the World Under 20 Championships in the high jump. But we have Heat 2 results there, as you can see. The men in the middle, that's Heat 1 in fact, still on screen. So we'll have to wait and see what those two small cues from Murphy and Ojawumi, if they were better than that second heat. Winning times were similar, and now we have Heat 2. So it is Murphy and Ojawumi do go into that final. Takeda 10.45, Morgan Harrison 10.55, 10.58 for Micaiah Harris, and Franco Florio gets that big cue 10.81. So Jesse Osas and Leo Morgan unfortunate to miss out there, and good runs from Michael Farley and Keith Pike in these conditions.
Next up on track, it's going to be the Jerry Kiernan Foundation Junior Women's Mile as we go back to the high jump.
Yeah, it's Ava Rudgeford again, so we saw her go clear in her first attempt. So it's at 175 now, that's her first failure in the competition.
This will be going well into the 180s.
Yeah, 4th at the European Under 18s last year was Rudgeford. And we have the men's high jump, Lars Van Looy, 2.16 at his best, 2.15 this year. So he's going to be looking to get back up towards those heights here today. 2nd at the Indoor Belgian Championships this year, but no good at that first attempt, unfortunately. As we see the start list for the Junior Women's Mile, sponsored by the Jerry Kiernan Foundation, Cathal.
Yeah, Jerry Kiernan, the late great Irish coach and indeed TV personality and indeed athlete, fondly remembered, and his good pal Mert Coleman does great work with the Jerry Kiernan Foundation, among others, keeping the dream alive and all the legacy that he gave to so many athletes, all the work he put in. They continue to fund many athletes in Irish athletics, giving them a helping hand, but it's appropriate then that they sponsor the Junior Women's and Junior Men's Mile. That will be coming up in just a little bit. But first up, you can see them there getting their final pieces of kit and just getting out on that track for that mile lineup in about 2 hours time. The men's Morton milers will be running up that straight, and it'll be close to dark by then. I'm sure the Friday night fever, as we've themed tonight, the atmosphere will be pumping here at the Morton Stadium. But that is your full lineup for the Junior Women's Mile. Some of the athletes to look out for, I'm sure the Foster sisters, Kirsty and Lucy, will be amongst it. Lucy was 4th at the senior schools 1500 metres just about over a month ago. Her sister Kirsty was 5th in the senior girls 800 metres there. 4:26 Kirsty at her best. Amy Wallace of Mullingar Harriers is also 4:26 miler. She's just lining up in the middle there. That is number 9, Amy Wallace. We'll keep an eye on her, and we switch back to the high jump.
Yep, back with the women's high jump here. I think that looks like Imogen Skelton again, the New Zealand athlete, goes clear at 175. So I'm sure it's an uncomfortable experience landing on that soaking wet mat, but I'm hoping that the officials kept the covers on for as long as possible here today in that monsoon of rain. But as you said, doing their best up there to clear that sector, give the athletes the best chance to jump higher with a nice dry takeoff area. So it's a rare occasion, I suppose, for athletes of this age group, Cathal, to get a chance to run a mile every year, but the Morton Games always provides that. We just see again in the high jump we've got Emily Whelan. She has her first failure at 175. So a couple of athletes I don't think in the competition just yet as well.
Yeah, early days there.
You can see the men's bar in the background has gone to 2 metres just at the top left of your screen there, that scoreboard. As we said, that live results link will give you all the action that you need on live.athleticsIreland.ie.
No, Jared, we will give them all the action and the information that they need, because that's our job.
The athletes will give us the action, we'll give you some information, and anything we skip out on, you can get it on that live link. And we'll try our best all around. But I was just saying, Carl, you know, a mile race for athletes of this age, it's a rare that they get the chance to do it, and things can be very competitive all season, especially as a youth and a junior. It's all regional championships, national championships, international meets if they get the chance. We're back over for the high jump. I don't know, is that Erin Shaw, the second Australian in the field? But that is in fact Pippa Rogan, I think. Looks like the Slee Coolan vest. But yeah, to get a little bit of a pressure off scenario here to run a mile, a distance event that they're not quite used to, and go out and show what they're made of.
Yeah, it's a great distance, the mile. It is fading slowly from view amongst the international scene, but it has such tradition, and I love it. I think especially on the men's side when there is the 4-minute barrier, you know, a lot of people, as we look back, this is Summer Leckie, I think, in the high jump.
It is Summer, yeah. So another failure there. You can see that wind ribbon blowing in the background, so it's a headwind in the high jump as well as everything else does change things in terms of run-ups and approach. It just need a little bit more effort put into some of those strides and potentially getting too close to the bar, but just the slightest of clips there from Summer Lucky. And as we see, Jonas Baikstis from Lithuania, the 227 man, 217 this year. Junior women's mile, towing the line. First distance event of the evening, call.
And away they go, and it's a good pace into the bend. Will they kick on up the back straight? The wind will be on their backs as they head up that back straight, so a good chance for someone to set their stall out early, perhaps put the hurt on their competitors. And we see the singlets there, that is the Foster sisters of Willowfield Harriers in second and third at the moment. And we'll get all these athletes identified in a moment. They're heading up the back straight, and it looks a very healthy pace. And as we said, anything in and around the 440, 450 would be good running here for these young women as they go through 200 metres. Well, I just held the pace there with the extra 9 metres that they have to run. And that is Kirsty Foster out front, in fact. Oh, sorry, that is Catherine Martin of City of Lisburn, who was the leader there for the first few hundred metres, but now moving up on her outside. This is Kirsty Foster. No, it is indeed her sister. It's Lucy Foster now who has hit the front. Her sister follows her, Kirsty, on the outside, and then on the inside is Catherine Martin. We would expect these three on personal best to be up there because they've run 4:26 for 1500. And Amy Wallace of Mullingar Harriers, you can be sure she'll be in the mix as well. She's currently sitting back there in 6th at the moment, in a bit of a box, but it's very early days for a mile. There's lots of time to get out of that as they head on up the back straight, the wind at their backs. And it is Lucy Foster churning out what is a very healthy pace here. They've been familiar to everyone on the Irish school scene for many years in juvenile competitions. And they're running very well here, towing this out, but they're not going to have it all their own way because Catherine Martin is looming up there into 3rd position and is just announcing herself, I suppose, beside the Foster sisters.
Yeah, nicely strung out there, Carl. As I said, a good healthy pace. Those two Willowfield Harriers stringing it out down the home straight with City Lisburn in the back, 3 Northern Ireland clubs, and DSD in South Dublin in 4th at the moment. But right behind that, they're bunching up a lot of moves being made, people getting their pace and finding their positions. But it's certainly going to be nice and quick as we come up towards the finish line here, and about 2:30 on the clock at the moment.
Yeah, it was about 2:28 there through 800, so if they could get under 5 here, it'll be good running. And again, not a day for personal bests or even season's bests. It's all about competition on the track, and at the moment it is Kirsty Foster of Willowfield Harriers leading it out, just ahead of Lucy Foster, and then we have a little bit of a gap back to Catherine Martin of City of Lisburn, and I think that is a Dundrum South Dublin singer. That's Emma McAvoy then back in 4th. These 4 have separated from the rest. There's about a 20 metre gap back to the others as they head on up the back straight with 600 metres to run. Kirsty Foster, she's the quickest in the field, marginally.
Yeah, her sister on her shoulder, Carl. It's Liam Moggan on the infield. Tells us so elegantly that she's the under 17 indoor record holder over 1500 metres. So sitting on her shoulder of her sister at the minute, waiting to make a move.
Yeah, it'll be interesting here. Sibling rivalry playing out before our eyes, but they also have a rivalry going with Catherine Martin of City of Lisburn. Can she upset them here? As it's been from the outset, it's Kirsty Foster running the shortest line, but taking all that wind that will be in her face as she comes up this home straight. And her sister Lucy on the outside. It looks ready to strike, but here comes Catherine Martin to the lead when it counts. 3:47 on the bell, on the clock as they go through the bell, and Catherine Martin has struck for home jerk.
Yeah, absolutely opens up a nice healthy lead there in the space of 20 metres. She takes 3 or 4 metres out of the sisters behind her. 300 metres to go. Can she hold on? That gap hasn't increased any much more than it was, and Lucy Foster trying to stick with her sister in the back straight. So that gap is sticking out about 3-4 metres, and certainly Lucy Foster looks to have a lot more running left in her legs. May not be just quite over yet as we come up with 200 metres to go. Catherine Martin needs to hold this pace and try and dig in with half a lap to go here, Colin.
Yeah, Catherine Martin looks to have this if she can hold it on, but Kirsty Foster to me does not look done. She looks the stronger tonight of the two Foster sisters. She is fighting on, but I think Catherine Martin simply has too much for the Foster sisters here. She has taken about 10, maybe even 12 metres out of them over the last 300 metres. This is a very, very impressive surge from Catherine Martin. She's a 4:30, 1500 metre runner. Looks like she might dip under 5 minutes here. I think she will. She'll be in the 450s, kicking down the outside for second. That's Lucy Foster. But it is Catherine Martin, the champ of the junior women's Morton Mile. Lucy Foster comes through for second, also probably going to be under 5 minutes, and then it is the long-time leader Kirsty Foster in third, and then kicking to fourth place, that is Mullingar Harriers' Amy Wallace.
Grace Byrne, I think that is in fact in fourth place there for Mullingar. But yeah, some great running there, and all importantly, Catherine Martin stopped her watch as she crossed the line, which is key.
You can never be too sure. Kudos on Strava for Catherine.
Absolutely. So an excellent race there, kicking off our distance program here at the 2023 Morton Games from Morton Stadium here in Santry, Dublin. Brilliant racing there. The three athletes from the Northern Ireland clubs really taking it out of each other and going toe to toe. Foster sisters taking that pace on for the whole race. Catherine Martin just making her move, and what a move it was. With a lap to go, opens up 2-3 metres, and then with 200 puts the boot down, and there was no catching her.
We're seeing the closing stages there, fighting into that wind. The track is damp, but she scorched it over that final lap.
Yeah, just has a glimpse over her shoulder there, knew she was home and safe, and allows herself to relax that a little bit, lets the stride flow as she comes in towards the finish line rather than tensing up with the battle on behind her between the Foster sisters. Lucy the younger just getting the better of her older sister on this occasion.
And if you like miles, I've good news for you. We've two more coming up tonight. Next up, it's going to be the junior men's mile on track, and then we'll be finishing up with the Morton mile at 9:05 p.m. Don't leave us. Stay with us. We'll try not to annoy you over the next 2 hours.
Absolutely. You can see the crowds are gathering here. Their stand is full, and the either bend are filling up nicely. You can see our timetable to come on screen. So we've had that junior women's mile there, fourth on the list, and junior men's mile coming up, followed by Swedish medley relay, and on to just trimming down, updated by our main man on comms, and we've got action all the way through, as you say, until that last event, which kicks off just after 9 p.m. this evening. And it's always the magic that closes this meet and leaves people wanting to come back. Athletes, spectators, anoraks alike. Ava Rochford there in the orange of Nina, just paused and waiting to go. And David Cusson here, the Irish champion many times in the past, and getting back towards his best. 2:11 this year. He did take the win for Team Ireland at the Team Champs in Poland a couple of weeks ago, I should say. So he's getting back towards his best there. Nice to take a victory on international soil always. So good to see David back, getting towards his highest heights once again. So the men's junior mile coming up, as I said, sponsored by the Jerry Kiernan Foundation. Mohammed Igal, Clonliffe Harrier, the local man. Owen O'Connor of Balgooley in Cork. Louis Woodger, Metro St. Bridget's, Lorcan Benjakar of Clonliffe. We've got Louise Guilherme Marcel Mello of Raheny Shamrocks and his teammate Jamie Whelan. Two more Clonliffe men, Sean Cronin and JD Kelly.
Yeah, Sean Cronin will certainly be one to watch there. The 17-year-old intermediate schools 1500 metre champion as we complete the lineup. It's David Williams of St. Senans, Jamie Byrne of Dundrum South Dublin, Killian Keegan of Clonliffe, Killian Gleeson of Selbridge, Finn Boyle of Crusaders, and Dara Donoghue of Lucan Harriers. 15 athletes, 1609.3 metres. One junior men's mile champion, as we'll look over to crown our junior women's mile champion. That is Catherine Martin on the left, City of Lisburn.
As you said, Carl, we've got our sponsorship. Jerry Kiernan Foundation is now supporting some of Ireland's best young talent all from all around the country. Just that bit of support that some athletes might need, that they're maybe just outside the carding system, or maybe just need that little bit extra in terms of getting themselves towards World Championships this year, Paris Olympics next year and beyond.
Yeah, doing great work, and well done to all at the Jerry Kiernan Foundation for the work they do to keep the legacy of the late great coach alive and well.
And we just see another failure there in the men's high jump. It looked like number 1 Jeff Vermeer in the Belgian, and we also see Imogen Skelton with another failure in the women's high jump. I think that's Will Grimsey, the Great Britain, 220 this year, 225 at his best, UK indoor champion for 2023. So those men's milers keeping themselves warm, bouncing around their toes, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, not a warm night here in Santry.
No.
It's about 15, 16 degrees. It wouldn't be too bad if that wind would die down a bit, which it is very much not complied with it yet.
Yeah, we've got
Joas Bakstis of Lithuania, 227 athlete as his best.
Yeah, 4-time national champion. So I don't think we're too far above 2 metres in that men's high jump, depending on how quickly they're rattling through it. But it was at 2 metres the last time we saw. Possibly went straight to 210 after that.
Sean Cronin there in the middle of your shot, number 3, the Clonleith Harriers, the black and amber of the local club. He will definitely be one to watch here. The intermediate schools 1500 metre champion at 3:55 athlete at the age of 17. He's in towards the left of your shot there, the first of those 3 Clonleith things, or 4 Clonleith things, as you move from the inside to outside.
We've got a green card here on the start, lane 1. The man from DSD, toe on the line, so we're called up by the starters. Lots of local rivalries here as well, Cathal. We've got 5 men there in that black with the amber sash of Clonleith Harriers, the host club here. Raheny Shamrocks and DSD Crusaders, all Dublin based athletes, plus some of their main rivals from around the country getting their chance to toe the line in a major international meet, potentially for the first time, but certainly not the last.
Yeah, and they're tripping over themselves as they run around that first bend. If they went any slower, they'd be going backwards. And it is currently Jamie Byrne of Dundrum, South Dublin, wearing that Dave Wattle-esque hat, 51 years on from the Munich Olympics. But we have a man whose patience has already broken. He's moving around the outside, but it's not too big a move at the moment. That is JD Kelly, I think, of Clonleith.
Yeah, looks like a Selbridge AC vest, if we have one of those.
Yes, that's Killian Gleeson, who's moved to the front there in the red shorts out front. Selbridge, indeed, number 8, and it is David Williams of St. Senans. He'll be another of the big contenders here in the Navy singlet. St. Senans, he's a 3:56 1500 metre runner, just slotting into second place there, happy to take this lead from Killian Gleeson. And then back in third, that is number 3, that is Sean Cronin, probably the favourite, I would say, one of the younger athletes in this field, but he's an athlete who can run a fast pace and who can also kick off a fast pace. Look out for Sean Cronin sitting in third there and getting a great easy ride through this first 500 metres as Selbridge's Killian Gleeson keeps things honest out front. But it's not a decisive gap opening yet, because David Williams of St. Senans has given him absolutely nothing. Look out too for Louis Woodger. He's sitting back in 5th at the moment. He's all covered up in the singlet where it's hard to hide that luminous green of Metro St. Bridget's, the club of the great Eamon Coughlin. 40 years since he won the world title over 5,000 metres. One of Ireland's very best. But the Metro St. Bridget's man, Louis Woodger, he was 4th in the schools All-Ireland 5,000 metres, stepping down to 1,500 metres here, or a mile here, but he's a 3:56 1,500 metre runner, so look out for him in the green. He's getting a very easy ride through this first 800.
Yeah, we're out into lane 3 now. They're all rightly bunched up, so a little bit of a different race than we saw in the women's. There's nobody really pushing the pace on, but now we do have St. Senans, David Williams starting to string them out a little bit with MSB. That is Louis Woodger, apologies, in second place going with him, so just stringing things out a little bit. The guys at the back trying to find their positions. They're still out in lane 2 as they start to slot in, and we get Indian File here coming around that bottom bend, and we are picking the pace right up.
The man leading the chase back is Darragh Donoghue of Lucan Harriers. He's doing his best to stay with them at the moment here, but not quite able to do it at the moment. But Louis Woodger has said enough is enough. They've gone through the gears and he has shifted rapidly there on the back straight with the wind at his back. Takes about 2 metre lead at the moment, but I'm not sure if this is going to be decisive, because David Williams of St. Senans is not letting him go. And right now Sean Cronin was nowhere to be seen there when a key point of the race, but he has sprung out of the pack. The alarm clock has gone off, the alarm bells in Sean Cronin's head, because he would have been favoured to win this race, but he has allowed Metro St. Bridget's Louis Woodger to slip the field here. And Woodger comes through the bell in 3:22 on the clock. He has got a 7-8 metre lead. David Williams of St. Senans is doing his best to give chase, but it looks futile at the moment. And then here comes Sean Cronin. If he doesn't win this race, he will regret this. If he wins it, he'll look like an absolute genius, because he has spent his pennies wisely here and efficiently to get into contention with 2:50 to run. But Metro St. Bridget's Louis Woodger holding that lead, but it doesn't look like it's going to last year.
Yeah, Sean Cronin very cleverly now just starting to move up onto the shoulder of Louis Woodger with 200 metres to go, 3:51 on the clock, and he gets into the lead for the first time in this race. As you said, played his cards very close to his chest for 1200 metres here of this race, and now he is streaming away with it. Louis Woodger doing his best to hold that second spot. It is going to be Sean Cronin coming away with it in third place there, since David Williams trying to hold on. But look at this for a performance from Sean Cronin. Louis Woodger doing his very level best. He hasn't let that gap open up too much, but the home crowd favourite streaks away with it. 4:20.49 on the clock. He takes the win with some class. Really showed his wheels with 2:50 to go. Got into the lead. Louis Woodger blesses himself. Thanks the Lord for a great run there as well. He really took that race by the scruff of the neck and set it up nicely for all those lads to run fast times.
To quote Without Limits, dare we say, one man made the race, another man won it. But certainly David Williams taking it on early, and then Louis Woodger taking on in the middle. But the man who took it on when it mattered most of all was 17-year-old Sean Cronin, the local athlete from Clonleith. Big future ahead of him, and he won that in some style. Oh, ye of little faith is probably what he's saying when he watches this back.
Absolutely. I was just thinking with a lap to go there, Woodger out front. He had done a lot of that work already, looked a little bit under pressure, but certainly David Williams and Cronin behind him were sitting pretty. You look there on this replay, there's 10-15 metres back as far as Cronin there, Sean Cronin in that black vest just behind the white vest, and the man in the hat, as he makes his move up here with 600 to go, gets himself out of that trouble, and coming up towards the home straight, with a lap to go, or 200 to go rather, he makes that move.
Jake Whiteman-esque.
Absolutely.
Take that lead entering the final bend.
Yeah, and he looked all class down the home straight, and you really have to give it to Louis Woodger there for holding his form down that home straight as well. Looked really good, and he was working so hard from 500-600 to go to hold that form. Will give him a lot of confidence. But no doubting the winner, the local man, the home favourite, the hero.
Well done, Sean Cronin, and to all our junior men's milers. And I see Eamon Coughlin is in the building, and I believe he will be presenting the cup to Sean Cronin. And there's Mert Coleman alongside him. We'll be seeing that presentation coming up soon. And we'll look firstly at the start list for the women's javelin. And we don't often have a Diamond League champion here at the Morton Games, but the bottom here line-up there, Madara Pelamaika, 2016 Diamond League winner, 66-metre javelin thrower.
Yeah, Grace Casey, Emma Hamplett, Freya Jones, Claudia Ferreira, Becca Walton, Jenny Kangas, Joanne Van Dyke and Madara Pelamaika there, as you said. So Pelamaika 66 at her best. We've got another couple of 60-metre throwers in there, Kangas and Van Dyke. We're going to get a look at the results of that women's junior mile. Fantastic race it was. Catherine Martin coming away with the victory there from her Northern Ireland teammates, the Foster sisters, Lucy in second, Kirsty in third, and Grace Byrne, Cora Scullion and Anna McAvoy making up the top six.
Presentations will be upcoming for the junior men's mile, then we'll get back to the field event action, and it won't be long before we're back on track as we see the great Eamon Coughlin will be presenting the cup. That is Mert Coleman there beside him, who keeps one of Jerry Kiernan's good friends, who's head of the Jerry Kiernan Foundation, which does such great work in supporting so many Irish athletes, giving them a crucial helping hand. And we see our top three. That is Louis Woodger on the left, the Metro St. Bridget's on the right, that's David Williams of St. Senans, and in the middle, numero uno, Sean Cronin, Clonleith Harriers, school's intermediate champ, and now the junior men's mile champ at the Morton Games on his home track. And there is certainly lactic acid in those legs, because I think he would like to sit down somewhere, Jared, by the way he leaned over there. That's what a last lap like that will do to you. I'm sure his coach will have a tactical discussion with him later and say, you might get away with that in the junior men's Morton mile, but if you go to the European World Under-20 Championships, Don't be giving away 12 metres like that.
Certainly, and you know, it takes a lot of talent to even get away with it here, Cathal, on home soil against these guys. So
certainly, well done to Sean Cronin. Very impressive run.
Back on the men's high jump, we have another failure there. Just try and get a look at who is on our screen, and we jump straight across to the women. And we've got another knock of the bar. That looks like Emily Whelan, or in fact it's Annabella Neto rather, of Portugal, 15-time national champion as we mentioned earlier on, 184 at her best. You can see the umbrellas are back up on the hill, but it's not quite raining here at the minute. We've got this medley relay coming up, Carl, Swedish medley relay with a number of the universities from all around the country here in Ireland taking lanes 2 out to 8.
And if you're wondering what a Swedish medley relay is, well, allow me to enlighten you.
Tell me, Carl.
It's a 100 metres, a 300 metres, a 200 metres and a 400 metres, and this is mixed. So the women are going to be leading off with 100, and it's men for the 300, men for the 200, and then the women are bringing it home for the anchor leg 400. I've heard of sprint medleys, I've heard of distance medleys.
Now we've got Swedish medleys. That was New Zealand's Imogen Skelton there. With a failure in the high jump. Everyone battling the conditions in these field events. Summer Leckie is back on our screen. 7-time national champion. That World Under-20 silver. Now 5 years ago. It doesn't seem that long ago, but trying to get back up to her best. Summer Leckie, she's 181 so far this year. That 190 PB still eluding her so far, but hopefully as the summer goes on towards our national championships here in Ireland in a couple of weeks' time, she'll be ticking those boxes once again.
And our mixed Swedish medley relay teams are slowly making their way out.
There are 400 metre leg runners making their way around the wet bottom bend.
Just doing the sums, this is a 1,000 metre race, so it's going to be starting with the 200 metre start.
Interesting to see what sort of stagger.
What happens
will be very interesting.
How does this work?
I'm intrigued. What sort of stagger we employ here? Obviously, back to the high jump. Oh, we get a clearance. It's great to see. For the first time in a while, we get a clearance in these men's and women's high jumps. Let's try and see who, in fact, we're looking at. That's Erin Shaw of Australia, 190 performer. Oceania champion last year, and 4th at the World Under-20 Championships last year as well. And obviously Australian high jump is just really taken off, or it's soaring, and it already taken off long ago. It's you know, the likes of Nicola McDermott, or Nicola Oschlagers as she's called now.
I don't see anyone else writing in notebooks there, Ger.
No, I think they need to get on that.
That's how you win Olympic medals.
Yeah.
Or a world medal. She won Olympic medal?
She won Olympic silver medal, and her teammate Eleanor Patterson won the World Indoor Gold a year later. So certainly nothing between them, both well over 2 metres, and certainly Oschlager's over 2 metres 3 times this year. So she is certainly going to be someone to beat when it comes to the World Championships in Budapest in a couple of weeks' time. Another clearance there. So that is Urte Baiskaita. Nice clearance there for her, 4-time Lithuanian champion. And we see the big men on screen for this men's shot put. Back to the high jump. Annabella Neto, certainly her second attempt at this height, if not her third. We'll just gotta wait and see, does she go clear? Just another failure there. It's certainly got her shoulders and her torso up high enough there, just a little bit of lacking with the hips.
Looks like it's at 181 there, just having a quick glance at that scoreboard.
Yeah. And going off body language, I think she's going to have one more attempt anyway at that height.
The Swedish medley relay teams are standing around, waiting to roll.
David Cusson, ready to go here. The Irishman, Old Abbey AC, 211 this year, 6-time national champion, 217 at his best. Oh, and he goes clear. Nice clearance there for David Cusson. He'll be happy with that one. Gets the white flag, and he's clear to get his gear back on and stay warm before his next attempt.
Men's shot put time. Full line up there. Gavin McLaughlin of Finn Valley, James Kelly of Finn Valley, Mick Palmer, Latifilari Anastasios, he is from Greece, Eric Favors, the national record holder, Alexander Kolesnikov of Australia, and Scott Lincoln of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Nick Palmer is, of course, from New Zealand, 1928 man at his best, but Scott Lincoln is the biggest thrower in there, 21-28. His best. I'm sure Eric Favours will be trying to defend home turf.
Eric Favours over 20 metres on numerous occasions this year so far, so he will be the man to beat. Certainly the man on form.
So this will be starting at the top of the back straight at the 200
metre mark.
There we are for the Swedish mixed relay. Again, 100 metres for women, 300 metres for men, 200 for men and 400 for women.
So I'm going to imagine that it will be a break on the back straight into lane 1 for the athletes, 200 metres into that 300 leg, if I was to take a guess. And we are cleanly away, so it's going to be all to play for here for Bevan McCaffrey, Molly Haslam, Emily Mahoney, Lorena Harrison, Saibo Toole, Lana Ryan, and Cressida Amanyapong. And it looks like in the middle there that USD Saibo Toole got them away to a really good run. Oh, it's actually an immediate cut in here, and out front there,
that's UL.
That is UL. That's Owen Sharkey there, going very, very well from fellow Amira Ojawali of Maynooth University. So these two going very well at the start here as they come around the first bend towards 200 into their first leg.
And Stephen Kiernan, the DCU there, is getting involved in third there, broke through the wall between the Trinity athletes, and he is on their home track, which they now have the ownership of Morton Stadium. He's trying to get up to second as they go through towards the second changeover.
Yeah, it is Craig, or it is Jack Hickey, in fact, the 200 metre specialist from UL, takes the baton, and he is ripping around that bend from Anthony Dillon of DCU. And now there's movement behind them. That looks like TCD's Darrell O'Donoghue getting up into third so far, but out front UL still hold on strong here. It's going to be Aoife Sheehy taking the baton from Jack Hickey, and Cueva Cronin taking it off Keith Pike there for DCU. Can Cronin close down Sheehy? Sheehy, the 40 metre hurdle specialist. Cueva Cronin, part of that 4x4 women's under 23 relay that tried valiantly all summer to get themselves to that championships. They're not there, so she's here, and she is ripping down that back straight with 150 into this race. Cronin goes out into the lead for DCU from UL, and Trinity College, Charlotte Burke there, trying to work her way up and is closing that gap on Sheehy as well in third at the minute as she goes through the 200. But as we come to 180 to go, Cronin still has that 5-6 metre lead from Sheehy.
Yeah, it looks like Cronin's going to carry this home on DCU's home track. She is certainly tying up a little, but they're also tying up in behind her. She really set off like a scared rabbit through that first 200 metres. It looks like Trinity's Charlotte Burke is going to get up for second place, so that's going to be tight, but no doubts about the winner. It is Dublin City University's Cueva Cronin with a leg from Wonder Woman to bring it home, 2:07.20. Trinity College finished second with a brilliant final leg from Charlotte Burke, and then it is UL's Aoife Sheehy brings them home to third.
And I think that was SETU in fourth from UCD and TUS Midlands. So all excitement there, Carl. First time for everything. Swedish medley relay.
It's certainly a fast K, 2:07. It's certainly several seconds below, I believe it's Noah Nguyen's world record.
You might do it on a bike.
Probably not, to be honest. But well done to all the colleges. Great to see him turning out here at the Morton Games.
All excitement and drama there, and a nice occasion for those collegiate athletes to get another run out. They only get 2 occasions during the year normally, certainly the sprinters and field eventers.
If you go to some very obscure athletics quizzes, now you can tell everyone what this mixed Swedish medley relay is: 100, 300, 200, 400.
And possibly the Irish record, 2:07.17.
We have seen national records here, people, as we see the result of that. Jerry Kiernan Foundation, Junior Men's Mile, Sean Cronin. He was chilling early, but he was absolutely flying coming home. 4:20.46, beats Louis Woodger and David Williams. Jamie Byrne then, Owen O'Connor also not far away in 4th and 5th. And we're continuing to build up, of course. An hour and a half now until the Morton Mile for the seniors. It should be an absolute cracker, featuring another Clonlift man in Cottle Doyle. He was denied by about 100th of a second last year by Andrew Coscoran, and he, in the absence of Coscoran, claimed the title on his home track this evening. As we look at the men's shot putters doing some warm-up throws, and look back to the high jump.
Yeah, Skelton there of New Zealand, the All Black, just walking back after her most recent attempt. And there is Eric Favours. He will be the man to beat, I think, here today. We've seen himself and his compatriot John Kelly in Cork this time last year throw over 20 metres, I believe. Certainly the first time 2 Irish athletes have done that in the same meet. And we cut straight back up to Summerlecky in the high jump. See what she can do there. Can she go clear? Oh, and just a slight brush once again for Lecky. Just trying to see, does she have a third attempt? The Donegal one, Summer Lecky.
Next track event will be the women's 100 metre hurdles in about 6 minutes time, featuring Irish star Sarah Lavin, number 2 all time. You can see the hurdles are just being put out on a very damp track, but if you're watching the Stockholm Diamond League about, what is it now, 12 days ago or so, you'll certainly remember that a wet track is no barrier, pun intended, to Sarah Lavin.
Yeah, Arabella Adekoya there, St. Lawrence O'Toole, won the national under-20 title just last weekend. Amber Van den Bosch, Effie Boons, Ebony Morrison, Sarah Lavin, Liz Clay, Judy Chalco, Teresa Bakalova, Alicia Barrett and Liliane O'Hora go on this one. So as you said, Carl, Sarah Lavin is on absolute fire this year. 12.73, absolutely clattering that last barrier in Stockholm in the pouring rain. Got herself into the heats, pulled out a serious performance, got herself into that final, spent the time in between in the bathrooms drying out her clothes in the with the hand dryers in there, and comes out and runs a huge personal best. So Derval O'Rourke's 12.65 national record is certainly going to be under threat this season, possibly not today with that wind, and we've seen a brilliant clearance there in the men's high jump. That is number 1,
Jeff Vermeeren of Belgium, 227 athlete at his best.
Yeah, 224 this year. Of course, Thomas Carmo is it in Belgium, is a real serious operator, so if you get anywhere near him you're doing your best, but he's well over 230. And
this is Will Grimsey of Britain, 225 athlete at his best.
Yeah, 7th in the Commonwealth Games last year. Grimsey, he's a national indoor champion this year in the UK.
The sun has come out, Jer. You're not seeing things. Do not adjust your sets.
And you see Grimsey come around and he goes clear. Happy days. So the sun is shining on Grimsey here. He just takes a little lie down, which suggests maybe they did keep the covers on that mat long enough to keep it dry, or else he's already soaked. But one way or another, he is relieved with that clearance.
Excellent stuff from Will Grimsey. They're at 210 there, as you can see. The women are at 184 now. That was his third attempt as well, so perhaps that was very much relieved for obvious reasons, because they'll be heading on up. I'm sure 215 probably the next port of call. There's the timetable. What's coming up next? In the field, it's going to be men's shot putters, featuring our national record holder in Ireland, Eric Favors, taking on the all-comers. And then on the track, Sarah Lavin, the second fastest Irish hurdler of all time, will be taking on a strong field. 3 12.7 athletes in there, 1 12.8 athlete. They'll be surrounding her there, Ebony Morrison and Liz Clay, 12.71 and 12.74. Sarah Lavin will be running between them as of last week, 12.73 in Stockholm.
Yeah, so a couple of sprints to come, and then we've got a distance themed end to our programme with that men's 100 metre final dashed in the middle. And certainly this women's hurdle is going to be absolutely lightning. So we're going to get a run through our men's shot put lineup here. You just see James Kelly there, brother of John the 20 metre thrower. James up towards high 17 metres this year. We see Ladiflari Anastasios there, the Greek man. And there in the Star Wars t-shirt, the Raheny Shamrock man, local club, Eric Favors, well over 20 metres this year and peppering it all the time.
Throwing to infinity and beyond.
Something like that. That's more Toy Story than Star Wars, but we'll leave it with you. Alexander Kolesnikov there of Australia, 20.69 at his best, and Scott Lincoln of Great Britain, 21.28. Lincoln at his best, but he's going to need to get back towards that form here today if he wants to take the title here at the 2023 Morton Games. This one's sponsored by Whiteford Geo. 7.26 ball. It's what stands between those men, the sector, and those top positions.
That's what happens when you watch too much athletics, Joe.
Indeed.
Their movie references are way off.
All of the cultural references take a slide as we see
the women's 100 metre hurdles line up.
Yeah, so Ebony Morrison and Liz Clay there in the middle are two real class acts on either side of Lavin. Both semi-finalists in the Tokyo Olympics. African Championship silver for Ebony Morrison, lady from Liberia. Liz Clay, 12.71 at her best, so Morrison 12.74, so both right around that PB that Sarah Lavin has set this year at 12.73. She certainly is the form athlete as she waves to the crowd there. We've got some fantastic other athletes in this, of course, like F.J. Boons there of the Netherlands in lane 3, a real accomplished athlete who's gone to many championships. Teresa Volkova of the Czech Republic, low 13s at her best. We've got other Irish athletes who've picked up medals all along the way at national championships and elsewhere, like Niamh O'Neill, Liliana Hora, and the youngster Arabella Adekoya. And there on the left of your screen there, number 6, Alicia Barrett, under 20 silver medal in Europe in 2017, finally the Commonwealth Games 2018. So like the rest of them here is a real accomplished performer here. This stage is going to be no fear for any of them. Liliana Hora just getting her shout out on the screen. She slaps her face and gets herself ready to go. Be her first outdoor race of the season here for the lady from Limerick. But right there in the middle, those 4 ladies, especially from lane 4 out to 7, are going to be hard to beat.
Yes, the lanes to watch. A reminder: in lane 3, F.J. Boons; in lane 4, Ebony Morrison; in lane 5, Sarah Lavin; in 6, Liz Clay.
So in our 100 metre sprints earlier, we saw winds of minus 0.8. Wind is looking a little bit calmer now than that back straight, and we are ready to go. Keeping on the local favourite in lane 5, Sarah Lavin. And she certainly gets out very well. Who is first to rise, and it is Lavin with Morrison and Liz Clay trying to stick with her, trying to get back into that form. Ebony Morrison on Lavin's left, but Lavin is streaking away with this. What can she do? She goes clear, she's got a metre, she's got 2, and she's going to cross the line here first. 12.81. Real classy performance there from Sarah Lavin. Minus 0.7 wind. Really up there with one of her best ever runs. It's going to be probably top 3 times of all time for her. 12.79 it's corrected to, so definitely just outside the time she ran to in that European final in Munich last year. So her 3rd fastest time ever for Sarah Lavin. Ebony Morrison gets up for 2nd in 13.10, and it is Chalco in 3rd. Let's have a look there. It is Judy Calco of France with 13.30 on the clock. Liz Clay getting up for 4th place, but what a run there from Sarah Lavin. Absolutely unbelievable. 12.79. Not sure what the stadium record is here, Carl. We certainly won't be far away from that. 12.97 is the meeting record and stadium record from last year, Jade Barber, at these very games. So absolutely smashes there, Sarah Lavin.
It has not
shows
just,
her best. She
it has
is
not just been broken, it has been absolutely obliterated.
Yeah.
Sarah's coming over here to interact with the fans. If you see the replay, you can see it. I think she surprised herself there. Into a headwind on a soaking wet track. It is not warm. And just looking down at Sarah Lavin here, the tears are certainly flowing as she's hugging some of the people in the stands.
Yeah, she's absolutely in the form of her life. Every day she shows up on track, she shows it. And we just see a refusal there in the high jump. There's her mum there just after hugging. I'm not sure who she's embracing now, but everyone in the stadium is looking to embrace Sarah Lavin now. She is the hottest property on track.
Yeah, that's her mum Emily on the right there with the glasses on her head.
Fans alike are looking for photographs.
Her dad Jura's out the back there as well.
Absolute superstar. So these are world class times Sarah Lavin is putting out every day she runs on track.
And world class athletes she just put firmly away. Ebony Morrison and Liz Clay. 2 12.7 athletes had absolutely nothing to hold against Sarah Lavin there. What a run from the LAC athlete.
Olympic semi-finalists in Tokyo 2 years ago. Well beaten by our own Sarah Lavin, the Limerick lady, our star. Will be heading into those World Championships with real points to prove. David Cusson goes in this men's high jump once again. Ooh, just a close clip on the bar there. See the official Colette Quinn moving her chair back over to put that bar up. Local lady herself, high jump coach and staff of the NGB. David Cusson walks back out towards his mark. Have a chat with his coach and see where he can just get himself hoisted over that bar next time around. See that dark clouds down the home straight here again.
It's all brightening up, Chair.
It is. Sun is shining on the infield, as you can see. Certainly those men's shot putters are going to look great. They're going to stay nice and dry. Keep that shot put as dry as possible.
Outstanding. Certainly the performance tonight, and I'd be surprised if that doesn't hold up as the performance tonight from Sarah Lavin. It was truly, truly remarkable stuff.
See another knock in the men's high jump. Is Lars van Looy, the Belgian. silver medalist indoor this year at the Belgian Championships. And we see Sarah Lavin there under the Morton Games tarp, awaiting her presentation for her stadium record, her meet record. Has her flowers as she deserves. She is the Morton Games champion this year, number 1 on her vest, and she stayed number 1 all the way through that race.
Qualified for the World Championships in Budapest and the Olympics in Paris in one fell swoop in Stockholm in a race she didn't even know she was running until about an hour before. As we get the official results of the DCU IUAA Mixed Swedish Medley Relay. DCU 207 take the win ahead of Trinity College and University of Limerick, round out the podium in 3rd. We have all learned a lot about the mixed Swedish medley relay here tonight.
Certainly a learning experience here. We're here to educate and inform as best we can. You see that record breaker sign, Sarah Lavin, and the crowd goes wild in appreciation for that world-class run in less than ideal conditions. An athlete in the form of her life, and shows up every day and shows off.
Let's just remind ourselves that we had a truly world-class, we had a world indoor champion in Derval O'Rourke who ran in this stadium many a time. Sarah Lavin has just run faster than anyone, any female 100-metre hurdler has ever run in this stadium. What a run, and not on a night that was not ideal. Sarah Lavin 12.79 there, you see it confirmed. Ebony Morrison takes 2nd in 13.10, and Judy Calco of France 3rd in 13.30. What a performance from Sarah Lavin.
Yeah, and 2nd of the Irish home there is Liliana Horan, 14.34 for local interest. But yeah, a real performance of the night so far, Carl, here from Sarah Lavin. Truly top performance, as I said. You know, that's the time that was top 5 in Europe last year.
Sarah, a stadium record, how are you feeling?
Tired, but very happy. It's my 2nd fastest time ever, and to do it on a wet track into a slight headwind, it's a good run.
And I saw you celebrating with some of your family members over there. This really does mean an awful lot to you, but also to them.
Yeah, it's very been a very emotional couple of months, and to have them here is amazing. I didn't know some of them were coming, so it's a bit of a surprise.
And it was a very good surprise. You're in great form on the track at the moment.
Yeah, I am, and I guess ultimately you want to keep going now and building towards the World Championships in Budapest. But to throw out a 12.79, the more I can throw out the 12.7, hopefully I can pop out then a 12.6, and obviously try to get closer and closer to the national records.
Sarah, the very best of luck, and thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you.
Great to hear from Sarah Lavin there. Cahill is going to give us a talk through what she was telling us there very shortly, but the men's 400-metre athletes, you can see just lining up on track there as we back over to this high jump. Bar is getting up to higher heights, and we see a nice clearance there. Looks like back onto that wide shot call. Just give us a quick update on Sarah Lavin there.
Yeah, it was something else from Sarah Lavin. She was saying surprised by some of her family members that didn't even know a lot of them were coming tonight, but they picked a great night to come up to Morton Stadium and see Sarah run like that. And she mentioned the emotions that have been going on the last few months, and I'm sure anyone with half an interest in Irish athletics will know that Sarah lost her boyfriend Craig Green a couple of months ago, just back in April, in a rally crash. Very much in all our thoughts here tonight, as indeed is Sarah.
Absolutely. You see this men's 400-metre sprint lineup on screen. David Ryan, Frederick Overang, Eduardo Scotti, Joe Breer, Elian Laragina, Chris O'Donnell, Killian Green and Martin Hyland here. So we've got a really action-packed field here as well in this 400 metres. Laragina there will be really one to watch there. The Argentinian set a personal best just 6 days ago in Kortrijk in Belgium with 45.34, 6 times national champion, South American under-23 champion as well a couple of years ago. And we have some really hot Irish talent in there as well. Killian Green, former national champion. Inside him, Chris O'Donnell, 4-time national champion. Those two men finalists in the Tokyo Olympic Games as part of the mixed 4x4 relay with their compatriots Phil Healy and Sophie Becker on that one. So Green, Cathal, you wrote a nice article on Killian in the last couple of weeks. You can get it on Cathal's Twitter if you need to find it, but has had a very rough time of it the last 15-16 months or so. This is his first 400 since then. Fell off his bike, broke his ankle and his wrist, tore a tendon in his ankle, and then picked up 2 collapsed lungs. So he is certainly a happy man to be back on track here, but the men's in 2, 3, 4 and 5 are certainly going to put it up to the Irishmen here. Scotty there, the Italian, in lane 3, 45-21 at his best, 87 this year, 23-year-old, 3-time national champion, 7th in that relay, ahead of Ireland in the mix in Tokyo. Joe Breer in the shape of his life, 45-54, the Welsh champion, has a number of medals with the GB relay teams as well, both underage and senior. But I think the man with the backwards cap just towards the right of your screen there, in those black shorts and the vest bleeding from black into white, he is the Argentinian champion, and he is the man with the fastest PB, the fastest season's best. Chris O'Donnell on the outside, 45-26 at his best. He's going to be looking to get down towards that now as he pushes towards a place in those Budapest World Championships in the 46s so far this year, but certainly a man who can run himself back into shape. Green outside him, that 46-18 personal best, PB over 200 last weekend, 21-1. And Martin Hyland outside that, the Belgian. Third here in last year's edition of the Games, 46-90 at his best, Belgian indoor bronze medalist. Things are gone calm down on trackside. You see these men pacing around anxiously. The starter trying to work out a few gremlins maybe here before this race gets underway. And we are called to our marks.
Conditions are getting a bit calmer, and there's a giant rainbow across the sky here. Morton Stadium. Can we see something fast?
Flags on the back straight look to be kind of barely blown on the back straight, more towards the top bend. So these guys might have a slight headwind on the first 100 metres, but very, very little. May get a little bit of a tail down the home and into the bend. And we see that rainbow across the screen here as these men are underway in this men's 400 metres. Ryan Overing, Scotty Breer, Larigina, O'Donnell, Green and Hyland. And there's not much movement so far yet. David Ryan on the inside certainly has gone out very hard, but the men in the middle lanes, Larigina there in that backwards cap, is starting to eat up the ground on Chris O'Donnell. Joe Breer is trying to go with him, and Eduardo Scotty staying in touch. Killian Green got a little bit of work to do. He's going through 200 metres just about now. Chris O'Donnell trying to close the gap on him, but the man in the backwards cap, the Argentinian, Larigina, he is the man in form. What can he do here? Joe Breer in the red vest, the Welshman, is storming away though. Look at this, through 300 metres. It's certainly going to be Breer just in the lead, and Scotty, the Italian in the purple vest, comes into the home straight. Chris O'Donnell's having a flyer. What can he do? Can he take it home for the Irishman? But it is Larigina's going to hold on. The backwards cap Argentinian, he crosses the line, 45-74, and Chris O'Donnell is going to have to run a very big season's best there, possibly snuck in under the 46-second mark. A brilliant return to form for O'Donnell on home soil, but the winner, Larigina from Argentina, he did the business. He is the man in the form of his life, and he showed it here once again. Elian Larigina.
Not just the fastest athlete, sure, but certainly the coolest athlete. When you wear a backwards baseball cap like that, you kind of have to win, don't you?
Absolutely. The backwards cap on 45.72 has come down on the clock there, and Chris O'Donnell 45.89 is up on the infield clock, so that's a brilliant return to form for Chris. A big season's best. 46.20 for Joe Breer in third place.
Eduardo Scotty rounds it out with 46.75 in fourth.
Yeah, edges out Eduardo Scotty, the Italian, with 46.91 or 46.75 rather. And a good run from Hyland there, 46.91. To see come up the back straight here. So Chris O'Donnell kind of kept his powder dry on the back straight. You can see he didn't really close that gap much on Green and Hyland outside him. Certainly when Elian Larigina went up by him, and Joe Breer with a big push through that 200 mark with Scotty there, the tall man in the middle of the purple vest. So Joe Breer really, that push, that middle or third 100 rather, did all his work there, almost paid off for him. He came into that home straight just a metre in the lead here as you go through the 300 mark, but Elian Larigina just used him nicely as his pacemaker there through that last 50 metres. Chris O'Donnell coming through like an absolute train. So the man from North Sligo AC, excellent performance there, getting back into towards that season's best, or that personal best, a big season's best, and back in the 45s. matches the fastest Irish time so far this year, which is Jack Raftery in those under 23 semi-finals yesterday, 45.89 also. We just see the men's shot put start, and Eliane Larangina there getting his presentation from John Shields there on the right. Of course, the coach of Brian Gregan, who won this meet in the personal best in the past, 45.26. And he gives the Argentinian man.
Felicidades to Eliane Larangina, our champ. The Lionel Messi of Argentine 400 metre running. I think it's safe to say that, Chair, as we go back to the high jump.
Absolutely. That is Jeff Vermeeren again, the Belgian, in the blue vest. Gives himself a slap in the face, get himself ready to go.
Second at the Belgian Championships last year. Can he get gold at Morton tonight? Except there is no gold. Can he get the win though? Hoist himself close to that, but not quite over. 2:16 the bar is currently at. I think the women's is now at 184. I'll keep you updated. Next up on track, it's going to be the women's 200 metres as we see the result of the men's 400.
Yeah, Eliane Larangina there, 45.72. Chris O'Donnell, brilliant run, 45.89 in second. Joe Breer, 46.28. And Eduardo Scotti, 46.75. Big personal best there in 8th place as well for Ireland's David Ryan, 47.69. His first time into the 47, so brilliant run from him, the man from Moycarkey Cool Crew.
And brilliant to see Killian Green back there in 6th place. He'll be going a lot faster, I'm sure, in the weeks ahead. 2:16, first attempt here.
That's Lars van Voy, Belgium.
Yeah, it is. 2:17 his best. But he gave that a good rattle at 2:16. Look back to the men's shot put. Some throwers tell me, Jared, that a wet circle is actually a good circle.
Less friction, perhaps?
It's faster across it? Yeah, something like that. Write to us, throwers. Teach us more.
Back up to the men's high jump.
I don't think any high jumpers are saying a wet track is a good track though.
Certainly not. Wet and breezy, not ideal.
You can see even the camera there is wobbling a bit in this strong winds across Morton Stadium. That's a failure.
Yeah, that was US back guys, national champion from Lithuania. So, women's 200 metres coming up. Bon Secours Hospital. Katie Bergen, Tina Manning, Lauren Roy, Christine Bielen-Jensen, Lorraine Bazzolo, Christy Edwards, Florencia Lamboglia and Molly Horan. And right in those middle lanes again, as usual, the way the seedings are done on these sprints are going to be very hard to beat. Christine Bielen-Jensen in the form of her life, second place in the Norwegian Championships this year, 23-1 at her best. And Lorraine Bazzolo, at 40 years of age, is absolutely storming it. She's part of the Portuguese relay team that set a national record a couple of weeks ago in Poland, and she's running 22s and 11-1s last year. This year she is ready to go. So we see an update from the women's javelin sponsored by Last Lap Cafe. So Joanne Van Dyke is in the lead so far, 61.06. Madara Palamaika, 57.04, so return to form for her, 66 at her best. And Becca Walton holding that third spot just from Claudia Ferreira at the minute with 55.99. So
that's almost the season's best for Palamaika. 57.83 is her best, and same for Joanne Van Dyke, it is a season's best for Joanne Van Dyke, who's from 60.97 before this, the 2022 African champion, 4-time South African champion Joanne Van Dyke. We'll update you as we can on that women's javelin, how it's going.
Yes, so live.athleticsIreland.ie is where you can follow the live results link. Keep updated with those field events in particular, as we focus on the track action here, which is coming thick and fast. And we just see a third attempt failure there, 186 in the women's high jump. I think that is the Lithuania Urte Baiskaita. Goes out just below her season's best. Down to the shot put. And we've got a very happy man there in the shot put sector, and that is number 7. That is Scott Lincoln. So as we said, 21-28 at his best this year. He's up out towards maybe 19 low, 19 mid there on that one.
Third class to Sarge Gabriel over 100 and 200 from the City of Lisburn Athletic Club, Lauren Roy. In lane 4, fastest in the field with time.
This is Will Grimsey. It is indeed Will Grimsey, 225 athlete at his best. Let's see what's coming up over the next little over an hour left to go here at the 2023 Morton Games. Next up on track is going to be the women's 200 metres. Bonsico is off to women's 200 metres as Will Grimsey lines up. I think this is 2:16. Can he get up and over? No. Took off quite far from the board, or the bar, coming down on it by the time he got to it.
Didn't fancy that one. You can see he aborted mission once he left the ground, so another attempt for Grimsey to come.
Yeah, that was a second attempt for Will Grimsey, so he'll reload and go again. See if he can get up and over 2:16. Back to the track, good crowd. Sure, it'd be bigger if the weather was a bit more compliant, but sadly it's not. As we look back, this is Jusas Vaikstis of Lithuania, 227 at his best. But it's not easy to jump 11 centimetres below your best on a night like tonight.
I can see his vest billowing there in the breeze, so wind in his face.
And it can affect you in a lot of ways, even your run up, where you're putting. They have markers out on the track, little bits of tape about where each step will go, a lot of these high jumpers. And that wind, as it's swirling and gusting around the arena here, can really throw you off. Even just an inch or two can completely destroy what might be a clearance, turning it into a failure. But we'll see if Jusas Vaikstis of Lithuania can get over 2:16. This will be his third and final attempt. Certainly do with a few towels out on the track, because puddles are accumulating and the rain is still falling in dribs and drabs here. But there's certainly strong winds that are kind of drying things out. I think just checking with the officials there. How's bikes this? The Bon Secours Hospital Dublin women's 200 metre sprint. The final piece of kit are off and they are behind their blocks.
Yeah, we've got Katie Bergen, Tina Manning, Lauren Roy, Christine Bjelland Jensen, Lorraine Bazzolo, Christy Edwards, Florencia Lombaglia and Molly Horahan. Lauren Roy there in lane 3 from Ireland. Competed at the European Team Championships in the 100 metres. In lane 2, Tina Manning, part of the next 4x4 relay squad in Tokyo for Ireland. But as I said, Bjelland Jensen 23:16 this year. Bazzolo outside her 23:12, and Christy Edwards, the Australian, has a PB this year over 100 metres, second here last year, 23:20 at her best. Those three will be really ones to watch in the middle lanes. And the starter sets us off, and Bazzolo is out very, very well, as is Christy Edwards outside her. And Bjelland Jensen's got a lot of work to do here. Lauren Roy is off to a blistering start here as well. Looks like Bazzolo coming around the bend in the lead so far. Christy Edwards trying to stay with her. Bjelland Jensen's got a lot of work to do. And Lauren Roy is holding that third place position, but Bjelland Jensen pushing back up. But look at Lorraine Bazzolo out front, streaking away. Christy Edwards just tying up a little bit. She's going to hold on for second. 23:52. Huge headwind, minus 2.7 wind on the clock. But the Portuguese veteran takes the victory in quite some style. She took it from the gun and she was away. Christy Edwards with a brilliant run outside her, really set it up nicely for her. She had someone to chase the whole way home. Bjelland Jensen just left on the bend slightly, had a lot of work to do then on home straight, but I'm sure she's feeling the wind. She's hands on knees at the minute. And a great run from Lauren Roy, also from lane 3, the Irish lady who's now based stateside but works with Adam McMullen up in Northern Ireland when she is at home, and before she left he'll be guiding her during the summer, I'm sure. We can see 23:49 comes up on the infield clock as the winning time for Lorraine Bazzolo. You see her in the green and white strip there, the Portuguese athlete. Christy Edwards setting her up nicely. She could chase her down right the way around that bend. Lauren Roy there, third from your right, blistering around the bend, was right up on Bjelland Jensen there, the Norwegian. But there was no doubting from gun to tape Lorraine Bazzolo was going to take this victory. Christy Edwards holding on really, really well there, working on that strength. That 23:20 season's best, showing off with that 100 metre PB. look at it, and Bizzolo just has a quick look around her, crossing the line. She is the champ.
Outstanding stuff. The over 40s category at the World Masters Championships, I think we could probably give her the gold medal for the next 4 or 5 years, whichever years if she does decide to go. But she is beating not just the Masters athletes, she's beating lots of senior athletes.
Yeah, she's certainly in with a shout. She'll be there or thereabouts, I'd say, Cathal.
That's what matters.
So we've got the man you mentioned earlier, Cathal, is down trackside, and we're going to get a chat with the great Eamon Coughlin with Oisin.
By a living legend, Eamon Coughlin, how are you?
I'm fine, Oisin, thanks very much. It's nice to be living, all right.
It certainly is, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
This meet and this venue must bring back very happy memories for you.
Oh, no question about it. It brings back memories to when I was 5 and 6 years of age, would you believe? And I'm a lot longer in the tooth now at this stage. When my father, who used to do the sound system here, that was his business, I used to come here, help him pull the wires, watch Kip Keano, Peter Snell, Hare Elliott, all the great athletes way back in the early 60s and right into the 70s, and great Frank Murphy, who we honoured here tonight with the junior mile.
I want to hear some of your own personal favourite memories of here in a moment, of competing and all that. But first, what are your favourite memories as a spectator? Because as you just said, you love it as a fan here as well.
Whoa, as a spectator, that's a pretty tough one, all right.
Yeah.
Many moments here throughout the years, and I really think the one most impressionable event that has stuck in my mind all those years was Kip Keano. When he ran back here in 1969 against Frank Murphy. Frank went on to win the European silver medal at the European Championships, and we were hoping that Frank that night would beat Kip Keano, but Kip Keano came along and won the race that night. I was always really in awe of the great Kip Keano. But then again, Peter Snell, he was an idol of mine too. I used to have his posters and like Kip Keano's on my wall, but certainly Kip Keano probably the most impressionable time.
And you went on to be an idol yourself. Not to embarrass you, I had your poster on my wall. What are your own favourite memories of running here and competing here?
Well, I suppose the very first memory I have running here was what we called the Mini Olympics, which turned out to be the Community Games. This was back in 1966 when the first ever Community Games, as I said, called the Mini Olympics. I ran in the mile and I won the Evening Herald Cup that night, and that kind of made it me stand out like, hey, I must be good if I can win this race. And then the following year I ran in the Mini Olympics Mini Marathon, where they started at Independent House in Middle Abbey Street in Dublin. We ran all the way out to Santry over 10k, and I won the race on this track. So in those days too, by the way, it was a cinder track, it wasn't a tartan track.
You wouldn't want to fall on that.
And I think some of the other memories too, where it's falling on the cinder track coming out the last turn, running against the great Tom Gregan from Clonliffe Harriers, who joined me in Villanova University when we finished secondary school here, and I ended up with lots of cinders in my knees and in my elbows.
And just before I let you go, you're still looking fit as ever, you're still looking like you could run in the Olympics. Are you on the bike? Are you out on the golf course? Are you still doing a few laps? What are you doing?
Well, I think I might be running in the over 70s Olympics if I was to qualify.
I would have said 60.
No, I walk and jog. Yeah, I had a little bit of hip surgery done there before Christmas. Thank God I've no pain in it anymore, and it's allowed me to come and join my Metropolitan Harrier mates. Tuesdays and Thursdays we do an hour and a half walking and jogging around the Phoenix Park. Other than that, I'm on the bike, motorbike that is, and I do a little bit of racing around the country in Mondello Park and places like that.
Okay, Eamon, thank you very much.
Great to be
thank
here.
You for joining us. Thank you very much.
Right.
We're going to stay live because we have the winner of the last race joining us now. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Good. And the conditions, were they tough because it's wet and it's windy? Not as bad as it was earlier today, but still quite tough.
It's very cold today, and for sprint it's very difficult to run, but I'm very satisfied. We have the wind 2.7. I ran 23:49. I'm feeling good. I think in another run I can run good. Yeah.
This is a great event, isn't it? Look around you, you had great support, the track is in fantastic condition, the sun has begun to come out at least.
Yes, the track is good, we have the public, it's very good, but it's very cold, but I'm very happy to be here, to run here. I think the track is good.
And what is the plan for the rest of the season? What are you hoping to achieve?
I want to go in Budapest. I try to be in the ranking or to do the time, but I know I can do the time. Yeah.
Okay, congratulations.
I work for it. I think I can go.
Well, congratulations on your victory tonight. I hope you enjoyed Dublin. That's it from trackside for the moment. Right now, let's go back to Jared and Cahill.
Yeah, great to hear from Lorraine Bizzolo there, the champion in the 200 metres. So she's, very thankful for the public crowd to get out here this evening in Morton Stadium. The brilliant new track. Obviously, the wind and the cold not ideal for sprint conditions, but 23.4 in this weather is brilliant stuff. She's gone on to Budapest, as she said, goals to outperform her season's rankings up there and give it a best shot. She could be close to semi-finals there at least, if not better, in Budapest World Championships. And just before that call, we heard a really nice interview with Eamon Coughlin.
Yeah, the legend, man, the myth and the legend. 40 years since Eamon Coughlin set the indoor mile world record in Corvallis, and 40 years since he won the world 5,000 metre title.
Yeah, just give you a quick run through those results there. Lorraine Bizzolo, you see 23.49 from Christy Edwards, 23.78. Second again here at the Morton Games, and Christine Bjelland-Jensen in third, 23.85.
Back to my waxing lyrical about Eamon Coughlin. I'm trying not to fanboy too much over here. But yeah, a true legend, not just of Irish athletics, of Irish sport. And one of the greatest guys you'll get in an interview as well. He's always great company, great entertainment. If you've ever been to the Millrose Games in New York and some of the watering holes over there, Eamon Coughlin comes in, it's like a rock star has just entered. Even now, 40 years on from the zenith of his wonderful athletics career. So next up on track is going to be the men's 800 metres. Not the women's, that'll be just coming up a little bit later, but we'll give you the full lineups very soon on the men's 800 metres. We'll get that switched up. We'll send our helpers, Jared, downstairs and sort that out.
Absolutely, the elves are working busy behind the scenes here as always. We've got a fantastic team behind this whole setup with the Morton Games as always, putting on a fantastic show here for you guys on stream as well as those in stadium. As we said, live at athleticsIreland.ie is where you can follow the results. And that full lineup of the men's 800 metres, we've got John Fitzsimons on the inside, Jack Lunn, we've got Piers Copeland, Kyle Langford, Balash Vindix, we've got Bram Buigel, Mark Milner, Mark English, Harry Purcell and Roland Surlis.
This is absolutely loaded. Mark English is going to be going in. I don't actually see Mark English down there. So I think we have a late withdrawal of Mark English.
Yeah, just in lane one, John Fitzsimons, see the full field, Harry Purcell, Roland Surlis, Guy Learmont and Kevin McGrath is going to be outside in the salmon pink vest to pacemake this one, but John Fitzsimons in lane one, the man to beat, 145 as recently as last weekend, Cahill.
Yeah, the Irish champion in 2021. He was a European under 20 bronze medalist back in 2017. He'll be on the red singlet, on the inside, but flying off on the outside. Looks like Kevin McGrath there taking the pace out hard.
Yeah, Harry Purcell just going to slot in behind him there in his Dublin Track Club singlet, the 146 man, looking to get back to that best 147 this year so far.
Yeah, Gary Learmouth there, the Brit, slotted into third place, a 4-time British indoor champion, 2 times finalist at both the Commonwealth and the Europeans. He's in third behind Harry Purcell. That's where the de facto race is right now. Just behind him in the second blue singlet there, that's Bram Buigel of the Netherlands, a 146 flat athlete this year. He'll be dangerous. The 2023 champion, the Dutch champion indoors. And right behind him then, that's the Irishman.
Yeah, Kyle Langford there in the Illuminous Vest is towards the back of the field trying to make his way up through this. A 3-time champion here in the past, 4th at the World Championships before Kyle Langford, but it is Harry Purcell out front there in that black Dublin Track Club singlet as he goes through with 300 metres to go. He's got a couple of metres on the field here. Let's see how his strength pays off with Langford there sitting in second from Bram Buigel, Mark Milner and John Fitzsimons making a move now with 250 metres to go. The figure in the red vest there, John Fitzsimons, possibly the man in form here. 200 metres to go, 1:18 on the clock. What's going to happen here in this final stretch, Carl?
This could backfire badly, or it could look like a genius move on the back straight for Harry Purcell. It looks like it's backfiring because the tank has run dry with 100 to go, and it is Guy Learmont who takes over out front. Bram Buigel of the Netherlands right behind him. John Fitzsimons like a jet plane down the outside in lane 2. Fitzsimons and Buigel, Ireland versus the Netherlands, and it's going to be an Irish winner. John Fitzsimons, arms aloft, takes the win, 146.57. What a win for the Irishman.
Yeah, he made that move with 2:50 to go, bided his time, didn't put the foot fully to the pedal to the metal. Just ramped up that speed and pace as he came around the bend and timed it to perfection. Takes the win from Brambuigel, 1:46.57 on the infield clock. A really composed, classy performance and a solid, very solid time in these conditions here this evening. Harry Purcell will get a pat on the back from John Fitzsimons, I'm sure, for taking that one out and becoming a de facto second pacemaker. Wheels just coming off a little bit with 1:20 to go, but brilliant race there from John Fitzsimons, and is getting his awards from all those on track beside him.
Yeah,
so
very close here. You see there, pacemaker drops out, Harry Purcell left at the front, and we've cut back to John Fitzsimons with some flowers, taking the plaudits, well deserved plaudits for the Kildare man. 1:45.77 this year, not too far off it there. As we see, this is the key moment as Harry Purcell's left out front, and you have two decisions here. You can either just maintain or actually try to apply some pressure, and Harry Purcell chose violence, Ger, once he got into that back straight.
Yeah, a little bit too much work done by Harry there, I think, from 4 to kind of 5:50. You can see that gap that he really opened up from Learmonth, but Learmonth just kept his head and played it cool. And John Fitzsimons now just working his way up towards Mark Milner, tall man in the UCD singlet. That 4:50 or 2:50 mark to go, just comes by, drifts by, picking off man by man. Works up towards Buigel with 200 to go, and Purcell still with a strong lead there, but things start to get very, very painful from here on. And he comes in towards that headwind into the home straight. Wasn't going to get any easier for him, and Learmonth brushes by with Buigel on his shoulder. Mark Milner looked really good still here at this point. He thought he could be pushing towards that top three, but John Fitzsimons got himself in the right position, 100 metres to go, put the boot down and closed it out.
Yeah, a really good run from Mark Milner there, put himself truly into contention. 1:47.4 his best this year, so he's going to be very close to that there in pretty poor conditions. But John Fitzsimons, true kickers were in, and he was celebrating well before the line there. Brambuigel in second, and it was Balázs Vindic of Hungary who took third at 1:45.9 this year. We didn't give much of a mention in the madness up front, but Vindic came through very well there for third place.
John Fitzsimons there getting his check, blank check, bouquet of flowers. Looks like David Seaman on the right there, the Dublin Lord Mayor, I'd imagine that is, with his medals on.
Imagine David Seaman was Dublin Lord Mayor. I'd vote for him.
If David Seaman was doing presentations, I wouldn't be up here, I'd be down sniffing around him.
Long time Arsenal fan that you are. John Fitzsimons, the champ, 1:46.55. Brambuigel of the Netherlands in second. Great head to head between them down that last 50. And Balázs Vindic of Hungary in third, 1:46.96. And I believe Oisin is talking to our champ.
And we're going to get an interview from the winner.
John Fitzsimons. John, congratulations. Talk me through your race.
Yeah, I came out here with the goal to win and only to win. I've been chasing fast times all summer. This is my 8th race of the season, and I chatted through with my coach, and we said when you're here in front of a home crowd, number one goal was always to win. So I kind of relaxed the first 600, waited for everybody else to make their move, and bided my time with the wind in the home straight, and thankfully come through for the win.
Okay, so that finish, that wasn't accidental, that wasn't reactive, that was planned?
That was planned, absolutely, yeah. Like, we knew warming up this is where the wind was going to be, so we said we got to leave a little bit of juice for the last 100, so worked out very well.
And how does it feel to win in front of your home crowd, and such an enthusiastic crowd, despite the weather?
Yeah, oh, it's absolutely amazing. It's only my first win of the year, so it's really special, and it's the one race of the year my family has come to watch in person, so it really means a lot to win here.
And your family is steeped in athletics, which makes it even more special.
Absolutely, yeah. Both sets of grandparents ran, like all my uncles, aunties, my mum, my dad, the whole way down. I have a cousin running just as quick as me now in America, and he's younger than me, so he's keeping me on my toes. But yeah, absolutely. Family loves it, I love it. It's brilliant.
Well, the family meeting should be an interesting one. Just before I let you go, what's the plan for the rest of the season then?
2 weeks out before Nationals, so just train through to Nationals. All going well. I'll hit a quota spot for the World Champs, and if that's the case, it's only another 3 weeks from Nationals, so hopefully I'll be in Budapest and give it a good crack. The race like I did today, all going well.
John, well done, congratulations. John Fitzsimons, the winner of the last race. Let's hand back to Cathal and Jared. I love that thumbs up.
Great to hear from John Fitzsimons there. As I said, focusing towards those national champs in a couple of weeks' time here in this very track in Santry in Dublin. And he'll be pushing towards a quota spot definitely for the World Championships in Budapest. We see the women's 800 metres sponsored by Dublin Marathon start list on screen. Tess Cursop Cole, Lindsay Sharp, Ali Wilson, Jenna Brommel. Colin, I'm going to let you pronounce this Polish name as you've been practicing all day.
All day, all week, possibly all year, Jared. This is Patricia Ikasevich-Zawadzka.
Wonderful.
I just spent the last few weeks in Poland. Does it show? Just outside her, it's Skylan Webb of USA, then it's Jenny Hawker of New Zealand, Olivia Baker of USA, and on the outside, from Ireland, Georgie Hartigan.
You may have heard the roar in the background there, not to be a spoiler or not, but in the shot put, Eric Favours has just cleared that 20-metre tape in the shot put sector. Susie Nestor there down as pacemaker, and Georgie Hartigan on the outside lane.
From the Wimbledon box to Morton Stadium. I know which one she prefers.
Susie Nestor?
No, Georgie Hartigan. Perhaps the world champion boyfriend Jake Whiteman may be tuning in. If so, hello Jake.
So
come to Morton next year.
Here we have the throw that I'll give you the spoiler for. Eric Favours launching that 7.26 shot put out beyond that 20-metre line. Women toe the line here in the Dublin Marathon, women's 800 metres.
Yeah, you'd have to be looking, I think, towards Olivia Baker here in the red and black. She'll be in lane 7 and she is flying around that first bend. She was 5th at the US Championships outdoors last year. She's a 2:01 flat athlete this year, but a 1:58.05 athlete at her best. But right now, it's the athlete with the biggest achievement of all, and that is a European champion, Lindsay Sharp, who is out front there just putting herself in good position. She hasn't been in the best form this year, season's best of 2:03, but of course a 1:57 athlete at her best as the pacemaker gets to the front, go through in about 27.5, and it is Ali Wilson in second, just taking up that runner-up position at the moment. And Lindsay Sharp is just back there in 4th, Georgie Hartigan back there in 7th. We'll try and get an idea on some of these athletes. That's Lindsay Sharp sitting in 4th, and it is, I think that is Jenny Hawker of New Zealand at the moment on the inside there in 3rd, just behind Ali Wilson. But this is a pacemaker out front, so the race essentially is being led by Ali Wilson in 2nd of USA, Jenny Hawk of New Zealand in 2nd, Lindsay Sharp in 3rd.
Yeah, Jenna Brommel just slots into 5th place there alongside Lindsay Sharp. Actually goes by her on the inside as the pace starts to wind up here with 300 metres to go. As I said, Ali Wilson still holding the lead out front there. She'll have seen Harry Purcell's job of taking it on from the gun. She'll be hoping she can finish a little bit stronger than that, and she is looking good down the back straight as 4 athletes start to break away here from Jenna Brommel. And it is Ali Wilson still holding the lead here, Carl. 200 metres to go.
Yeah, Tess Kirshop Cole is coming up now into 2nd, but look at Ali Wilson, or look at Olivia Baker there up into 2nd. It is a US head-to-head here. It's going to be for the last 100, but is it going to be Ali Wilson out front or Olivia Baker? Olivia Baker is the quicker, but they both run 1:58 their best, and now Olivia Baker out into lane 2. Looks like she has timed this to absolute perfection. 2:01 athlete this year. This isn't about the time though, this is all about the win. Olivia Baker is going to edge her compatriot Ali Wilson to victory at the Morton Games, 2:00.56. Back in 3rd, then it's Tess Kirshop Cole of Australia rounding out the podium.
Yeah, great run there from Olivia Baker, as I said. Just held on, kept her patience. As John Fitzsimon said in his interview, he was happy enough to just chill for 600 and see what he needed to do. And you know, Olivia Baker doing something similar there. A nice half a second off her season's best down into the 2 flats again. She'll be trying to chip away down towards that 1:58 lifetime best, but 2:00.58 on the infield screen. Ali Wilson 2 flat 93, and it is Tess Kirshop Cole got up for 3rd. 2:02.27. You just see that replay once again. So Olivia Baker there right in the middle of the pack there, potentially looking to get boxed in if she wasn't careful. You just see Jenna Brommel slotting in front of her there, a little bit messy. Hands coming up in the air from Baker to keep her balance. Lindsay Sharp just staying out wide of the carnage, but all starting to string out front with Ali Wilson there in the red, the United States, stringing out the field. And look at the gap there right the way back to Baker, and she realises with 300 to go, okay, 12 metres might be a little bit much, and at space it is 50 metres. She closes the field right down, slots herself in behind in 4th, buys her time and gets ready to make that all decisive move, Cathal.
It's almost like a handicap race that you see down in Australia there, though, from 300 to go once Olivia Baker joined in.
Yeah, the Morton gift, we'll call it next year here. We see the gaps to some of these. We've seen it in the junior men's mile. We saw John Fitzsimons in the men's 800, and Olivia Baker following suit, deciding, you know what, I'm going to show off my sprint finish as well here. I can do it if anyone can.
What an impressive sprint finish that it was. Timed it to perfection. You could see there Ellie Wilson just didn't quite have anything left. She'd used her energy very well, but just not enough to repel that late charge of our US compatriot. Olivia Baker takes victory. Next up on track, it's going to be the women's 1500. As we see the Dublin Marathon Director, Jim Orkney, presenting Olivia Baker with her victory check. Jim Orkney, one of those who does thankless and endless work to the benefit of so many in Irish athletics.
So we have the results of that women's high jump. I'm sure you've been following it on the live results, think yourselves anyhow. The HyGo women's high jump won by Urta by Skaita, 184 clearance. Away and clear from the field, Erin Shaw in second, 181. And Summer Leckie taking third in 178 from Annabella Neto and Imogen Skelton, who both cleared 178 also.
And next up on track, it's going to be the Athletics Leinster men's 100 metre final.
We're going to go down for an interview first call with our 800 metre champion is down with Oisin on the infield.
Olivia, congratulations. That was a hard-won race.
Yes, absolutely. I went out a little faster than I thought it was going to, so I found myself closer to the back of the pack. But during that second lap, just kept moving up, picking people off one at a time, and I'm blessed to have just had the strength to finish strong.
Your preparations weren't ideal. Did I hear you missed your first flight to Dublin?
Yes, we did. Me and my teammate Ali. We thought our flight was on Wednesday, but it was actually on Tuesday. And yeah, we just had a little mix-up, so we only got here yesterday, but I mean, clearly it didn't affect us too much because we still had a good run today.
That's right, you finished first and second. Does that make it even better?
It does. I mean, it always feels good to win a race, but to do it along your side, to do it alongside your teammate and good friend is even more special.
You made some changes last year regarding your training. You seem to be in a happier place now. Is that helping your running?
Definitely. I mean, my coaches, Amy and Andrew Begley, have done a really great job getting me stronger, you know, and that was reflected in that finish today. And also having people to train with like Ali, but also some of my other 800 teammates, Gemma Finch, Yolanda Garambe, Hannah Seagrave, you probably know some of those names, really helped me, you know, get to the point in training that I needed to be to run fast today.
And what about this meet, this atmosphere, this crowd? Maybe not this weather.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm so grateful that people still came out despite the windy, cold, rainy weather. Thank you to everyone for coming out. It was awesome. Great atmosphere.
Olivia, congratulations. Our 800 metres winner. Cathal and Jared, back to you.
Great to hear from Olivia Baker there after her champion performance in that women's 800 metres. Great shout outs from her for her teammate Ali in second, who's just overtook in that final 100 metres. A nice mention for the work that her coaches and her teammates do for her to get her in these positions to be able to come over here and run fast, even with missing a flight and getting here a day later than they thought. So nice performance there from the Americans in top two positions.
Jet lag? What jet lag?
Absolutely.
The Atlanta Track Club rolls into town.
Yeah, spike up and go. That's all you got to do. See, the Ukrainian flags are billowing here down on the back straight, that is. So it will be headwinds once again for these 100 metre men as they get ready to go. We see the stands are packed. The men's high jump champion
Stefano Sottile of Italy.
Yeah, our men's champion getting his flowers, taking the Morton Games title for 2023.
A giant check,
yeah,
heading over to Italy.
Absolutely.
Does that mean you can write what you want on it?
I'd imagine so, yeah. He just has to rub out those Euro symbols and put whatever he feels.
7 figures, baby.
Yeah, surely. Yeah, Stefano Sottile, so 225 this year. He's the 2023 indoor champion in Italy, and he takes the Morton Games victory here.
So if you're wondering what's coming up, the clue is at the middle of your screen there. The men's 100 metre final is next up. After that, middle distance fans, fear not, we're 11 minutes away from the women's 1500 metres, featuring another loaded international field, but I'll let Jared take the lead here because he tends to know about these fast people.
Yeah, we've got the 100 metre men coming right up. You can see Adam Murphy there of Tinnerland in lane 1. He is in the form of his life, 100 metre PBs, 200 metre PBs. His aim this weekend was to run a fast 200 tomorrow. We've got a AEI Games come up here on this very track, but done himself the disservice of running really, really well in the heats, and he's into the final here. So let's see what he can do against this truly international field. We've got Subasiso Matsenjwa of Swaziland, Eswatini in lane 2. Micaiah Harris of the USA goes in 3. In 4 we're going to have David Morgan Harrison. Rivaldo Roberts, the man so impressive in the heats, goes in lane 5. That 10.09 PB set this year. Joshua Azapardi, the Australian, goes beside him, 10.25 at his best. Ipil Takeda, what's he going to do here in lane 7 in the yellow vest? So impressive in that heat. Taking heat 2 here earlier today, getting out so well ahead of his compatriots and leading gun to tape. Franco Florio of Argentina goes outside him in lane 8. Carlos Nascimento, the Portuguese champion there, goes in lane 9 at his best. He's 10.1 man, so can he get towards that there in the Puma purple vest on the left of your screen? Joseph Ojunui, the man from Dublin, the Tala man, second of those small cues, hands in the air, he is ready.
Look out for Takeda in that yellow singlet to start fast, but can he hang on?
The Japanese indoor champion over 60 metres this year, Ipil Takeda. Rivaldo Roberts 2 lanes inside him in lane 5. In that blue vest in between them, Joshua Azapardi. Who's going to take this? Athletics Leinster men's 100 metre final. And we are away cleanly, and Takeda there gets away very, very well in the yellow. Azapardi going very well beside him, and right in the middle there, Rivaldo Roberts. What's he going to do? But look at David Morganson Harrison in lane 3. Micaiah Harris, it is in fact, comes right the way through in minus 2.5 wind, 10.57. Times will be irrelevant. Micaiah Harris worked his way through the field there, all the action to his right hand side, kept his own head, ran his own lane, and storms the way through and takes the title. Micaiah Harris from Ipil Takeda. He gives a wave and a bow to the crowd. The man from Japan is happy out with his international travel and his competitions so far. He applauds Joshua Azapardi. A brilliant run there, and a surprise from Rivaldo Roberts not making the top 3 there, Colin.
I think what we saw there, Gerard, was a true 60 metre runner against a true 200 metre runner. You know, Micaiah Harris was 4th in that NCAA's last year over 200. And obviously Takeda, the Japanese champion over 60 metres, and they kind of met in the middle with their different styles of races here.
Yeah, we can just see the replay here. So, like, Roberts did get away very, very well there in the middle in the blue from Azapardi beside him. Takeda, as you said, a blistering start, but that real strength from Micaiah Harris there, as you said, 4th in the NCAA Outdoor Championships last year for the University of Texas. So a man with strength and speed, and he showed it there.
I just saw Takeda look up at the flags and then just kind of punch the air in frustration and went, damn, why did it have to become like that? Because I think he was hopeful for something a bit faster than that, and obviously this is a World Athletics Continental Tour bronze meeting this year, so good points on offer for rankings purposes.
Yeah, it's a long, long way to come to run into minus 2.7 wins, but a brilliant meet, as we said here. A really tight, close fought race. We're down to Oisin trackside. He has got the men's shot put winner with him.
Shot put winner, congratulations, how are you feeling?
A bit disappointed with my performance. I started off with a bit of a slip. The circle's quite slick, so started off with a bit of a slip in the first warm-up throw and had to build from there, but I've had 2 big foul throws, which I think one was over 21, so I'm just going to go and see if I can measure it now. But yeah, it's a bit bittersweet really. Found some good feeling this week in training. Just didn't quite execute it tonight, but we got plenty of time.
When you win but you're still not happy, is that nearly a good thing to show that you can get victories without hitting top 4?
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably one of my worst performances of the season, distance wise, but obviously didn't save the 2 big throws, so yeah, I mean it is what it is. I'm a bit disappointed, but it's just because I know I'm in better shape than that. So.
And what's the plan for the rest of the season?
Heading to Diamond League next Sunday in London. Hopefully throw well while there, and then I've got a couple of weeks training, and then I'm heading over to Switzerland, and then get ready for the Worlds.
I appreciate this isn't the Diamond League, but it's not bad, is it, as an event?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. The crowd were absolutely buzzing around the back of there, and it was such a good atmosphere, and I'll definitely be back next year.
Scott, well done. Thank you very much. Scott Lincoln, the shot put winner here at the Morton Games.
Thank you, Oisin, and congrats to Scott Lincoln. 2029, his best effort, coming in the 5th round there to take victory, just ahead of Eric Favours with 2014, the two men over 20 in that competition. And rounding out the podium in 3rd from Greece, it was Ladifilari Anastasios with 1917. That was your podium in the men's shot put. As we see the women's 1500 metre runners, warm-ups done, they are out on track trying to do their best to stay warm, because we're minutes away from that.
Scott Lincoln heading from the Dublin Diamond League off to the London Diamond League next week, and we see the results of that men's 100 metres on screen. Micaiah Harris, that brilliant finish, take the win, 10:54. Ipel Takeda 10:60 in 2nd, and Joshua Azapardi 3rd. Just have a look at the heats again there. See those teardrop flags on the right hand side of your screen are really blowing a gale here now at the minute. Joshua Azapardi there, 10:67 from Rivaldo Roberts, and Joseph Ojewumi first of the Irishman home at 10:83.
And we're going to be hearing from our champion very soon, because I believe Oisin has cornered him after that presentation. Our 100 metre champion, Micaiah Harris.
That looked like a close run thing. Talk me through it.
The wind is blowing super hard, but I could have got out a little harder, but I closed well. I've had some hamstring problems over the last couple weeks. My travel was horrible. I literally got here at 5:30, so I had to check in like 20 minutes for the prelim. I barely got a warm up, so I got a real warm up in between the rounds, trying to get ready. So I'm satisfied with my performance, given all of the stuff that I had to do to get here. So
it sounds like you won despite tough conditions, I suppose weather-wise and everything else-wise, getting here so late. Do you get something more out of that, winning when maybe the conditions aren't perfect?
Yeah, because I overcame adversity, which is something I'm trying to learn and handle better. So I've been asking why for the past month with my hamstring, can't run, struggling trying to practice, missed a flight yesterday, and then trying to get here today, like nothing was right. So it's a good feeling.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I bet you're glad you got here now.
Yes I am. Yes, I am.
What's the plan for the rest of the season?
I don't know yet. I got to go back and discuss with my coach. I don't have the standard for Worlds. I was planning to get it on my trip, but I got hurt obviously, so we have to go back and discuss, do we shut it down and get ready for next year, or do we keep running? So.
And what about this event, this crowd? Not great weather, but everything else was set up well.
Yeah, everything else was set up well. Warm up area, the crowd is great, the track is fast, so I can't complain. I'll definitely come back.
And you'll be welcome back. Well done, thank you very much. I'll hand you back now to Carl and Gerard.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see Micaiah Harris back here next year and many years to come. Maybe getting some better weather to allow himself to run fast. As he says, he's getting used to overcoming that adversity. Certainly did it tonight, and brilliant performance to take the win. Men's shot put results up on screen. Scott Lincoln, man from Great Britain, 20.29 take the win. A little disappointed with his performance today, but he is the champion of the Whiteford Geo men's shot put from the home favourite Eric Favours at 20.14. Every time he steps in the circle now, it's 20 metre throw, so certainly a big one coming from Ladifilari Anastasios in 3rd with 19:17.
Next up on track is going to be the women's 1500 metres. Big field here, 16 athletes plus a pacemaker. We'll run through the full lineup. Holly Archer of Britain, Molly Skyring of Australia, Emily Mackay of USA, Rebecca Green of New Zealand, Alex Bell of Britain, certainly be one to watch. Olympic finalist over 800 metres, Shona O'Brien of Ireland, Liliane Toth of Hungary, Cheryl Nolan, Irish indoor 3,000 metre champion from St Albans. That's Ireland for any of our international viewers. This field is loaded with quantity and quality.
This one's sponsored by the host club here, Clonagh Harriers. the residents at this track, Morton Stadium, recently renovated by Dublin City University, the now owners of the facility, and what a brilliant job they've done here. This top spec new blue Mondo, same track that's laid down in all the Olympic stadiums.
Continue the lineup with Michaela Meyer of the US, the 2021 NCAA 800 metre champion, stepping up in distance. Giulia Aprile of Italy, Sarah McDonald of Britain, Ella Donoghue of USA, Jenna Wins of Belgium, Laura Nagel of New Zealand, Niamh Bridson Hubbard of Britain, and Annie Mann of Britain. Our pacemaker then will be Gemma Kersey of Britain. A lot of athletes to watch here. This really could go a lot of ways. It'll be interesting to follow, but Alex Bell will certainly be one to watch, stepping up the 1500 metres, but she has good memories of Dublin. She ran an absolutely magnificent leg in that cross-country relay to get Britain to gold back in Dublin in 2021. And not dissimilar weather to what it was like here, even though that was in December. We are here, unfortunately, in the midst of an Irish summer with the wind gusting. As we see the pacemaker Gemma Kersey churns it out there from the front. She is gapping the field already. You see it's strung out, which is good in a field this big. That's Maudie Skyring on the inside there. Maudie Skyring is the tall athlete there in the light coloured On Athletics singlet. That's Niamh Bridson Hubbard, I think. No, that is in fact Sarah McDonald of Britain slotting into third then. She'll certainly be one to watch. She's the 2019 British champion. A 4 flat athlete at her best, or Sarah McDonald, 4:05 this year. But the fastest athlete in the field this year is Emily Mackey of USA, 4:01.52. She was the indoor bronze medalist at the US Championships back in March, Emily Mackey. So she'll certainly be one to watch. There looks a healthy pace at the moment. We'll check it, what exactly it is. They go up through 600 metres or so, but the pacemaker doing a good job in stringing this field along with Maudie Skyring of Australia, a 4:11 athlete this year, in pole position, leading the rest of the pack.
Yeah, Sarah McDonald just starting to make a move up onto Skyring's shoulder there now, as pacemaker still keeps that healthy lead, just 2 metres in front, doesn't want to be any further in front there. She won't be doing much good for these athletes in behind. The wind blowing a gale, if they could get a little bit closer to her, get a bit more use out of our pacemaker here. But bunching up a little bit behind her here as you come down through the home straight. They get the applause from the crowd, they get a roar from Noel Guyton, the meet director on the infield, to encourage that pacemaker right through the line.
Yeah, Sarah McDonald is just sitting on the outside of Skyring at the moment, and perhaps the favourite Emily Mackey there is in third. The wind is really gusting. Alex Bell, I think she'll be loving the slower this goes. She'll be happier because I think that increases her chances of victory. 7th place in the Olympic 800 metre final 2 years ago. But as we hit 800, it looks like Emily Mackey has said enough is enough. 2:14 on the clock. It's not a fast pace, but it could speed up from here because Emily Mackey has taken command here. As we said, bronze medalist at the US Indoor Championships over 3,000 metres. She has excellent strength, and she showed that with that 4:01 recently. 600 metres to run, but she has company, and that is in the form of Sarah McDonald, who is also in fine form this year, who is a 4 flat, the fastest athlete in the field on PBs. And these two are starting to draw clear of Maudie Skyring. It looks like it's going to be USA versus Britain up front. Emily Mackey versus Sarah McDonald.
Yeah, Skyring just getting stuck in no man's land a little bit there. A little bit of work to do to get up with these two leaders, and the rest of the pack are just closing her down. But out front, Mackey and McDonald look poised as they take the bell. Out front is a little glance behind what is going to happen from here on out. It is Sarah McDonald that just brushes up on the shoulder of Emily Mackey as Mackey takes a glance around her, and Skyring has been reeled in by the rest of the field, and he's said Alex Bell closing that gap right down and is going to move herself into third place very shortly, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and Rebecca Green of New Zealand is there back in 5th, trying to challenge for those podium positions, along with Alex Bell and Maudie Skyring of Australia. It'll be a bit of a dust up there for third, but it looks like 2 athletes alone and clear in the battle for first, and they are Emily Mackey of USA, but stalked all the time by Sarah McDonald of Britain. Who's it going to be? Who's going to be stronger? I think McDonald there, kind of like Jake Whiteman at the World Championships, tried to get past with 200 to go, but couldn't because Mackey responded immediately at a pivotal moment, and she held that inside line. But has Sarah McDonald got something else to offer? It looks like she hasn't. It looks like Emily Mackey might be too strong. She is Emily Mackey, the US bronze medalist over 3,000 metres this year, using that strength over the 1,500 metres to take victory in 4:07.04. An excellent run too from Sarah McDonald in second, and it is Britain's Alex Bell using that 800 metre speed to kick to third ahead of Maudie Skyring of Australia.
Yeah, really composed performance there from Emily Mackey to take the victory in that women's 1,500 metres, sponsored by Clonliffe Harrier. She gets a flower, she is delighted, and you could see Sarah McDonald stalking her all the way when they got to that 200 metre marker. It was an absolute picture to see them absolutely synchronised, same kit, same spikes, moving side by side. It was like there was only one athlete in the race, but McDonald couldn't quite get past her, and Mackey just really showed her strength down that home straight to take the victory.
Yeah, so impressive. Into a wind as well. Even mentally, it was probably just that bit easier for Sarah McDonald to be the hunter rather than the hunted. This time they just couldn't catch her. Emily Mackey, simply too strong and too fast, and you could see there, I think she saw enough with that glance. She knew Sarah McDonald was the only true threat to her winning this race, and she did it the hard way, taking that pace on from the front, but as you said, using that 3k strength, using that background. She was the quickest athlete in the field this year with that 4:01, and so it proved on the track. Quickest of all coming home, but she had to fight for it here.
She did indeed. Fight the conditions, fight her competitors, and fight the acidosis in those legs building up as she comes around with 2:50 to go here. You can see Mackey just trying her, or McDonald trying her best to get around her. Like you said, that 200 metre mark looked like she was poised to make a move, and it started to just slot into synchronisation here, coming around by the steeplechase barrier. But that inside line just really standing to Mackey, bringing it home in style. When she got to that 100 metres to go mark, she knew, right, I still have the gap here, and I can take it home with my strength. Like you said, that indoor bronze medal from the 3k, that 4:01 season's best. She is the champion and did it with ease in the end.
Balance on top here.
Alex Bell, as you said, coming through for that third spot. See the rain is peppering the camera once again as the 5,000 metre men get ready to take to the track. We've seen this before. It's a famous story here of lashing rain for the men's 5,000 call, but we've seen some serious times and performances.
It's the annual tradition at this stage.
One
of these years we're going to get a good weather Morton Games.
We'll get a cracker.
You feel like just telling some of the international athletes, it's not always like this.
No.
We actually had a month of good weather there before this.
We did indeed. John Fitzsimon's there, confirmed as our DCU men's 800 metre champion from Brown Eagle, and Balash Vindix from Guy Lermont. And a great run there from Mark Miller. That'll be close to his PB, 147.22, possibly even as a PB for the UCD man.
Harry Purcell didn't actually make it to the finish there, did he?
He did, 149.2 I think it was. I've seen it on the previous, but you can see the rain shooting down past those floodlights here. And the women's 800 metre result confirmed there. Olivia Baker taking it from her compatriot, her training partner Ali Wilson, both in the two flats, 2:00.53 from 2:00.93, and Tess Cursor-Cole 2:02.27. Jenna Bromwell, best of the Irish, 2:04.77. As we get a look down at our 1,500 metre women's champion.
Should be very pleased with that win. It's a tough field to have beaten. Lots of threats in there. It's always tough to come over to Europe as well. Fighting off the jet lag. Great win by Emily Mackey. Next action on track will be that men's 5,000 metres, and conveniently enough, there's the lineup. And the hometown favourite, Ephraim Giddy, on his home track with Clonliffe Harriers, will be flying the flag for Ireland, but so of course will Dara McElhinney. Full lineup: Ephraim Giddy from Ireland, Nacho Jimenez from Spain, Hamza Lamcartas of Morocco, Dara McElhinney of Ireland, Samuel Barata of Portugal, Jordan Mann of the US, Julius Deere of the US, Charlie Wheeler of Britain. And amongst those athletes, that's the beginning. We'll have two more pages coming, but Dara McElhinney, I think, certainly the favourite. A 13:17 athlete, has smashed many an Irish record on the way up. But we'll continue on with the lineup before we get into this. Phil Sessamon of Britain, Tom Mortimer of Britain, Baldwin Magnuson of Iceland, John Travers of Ireland, Jack Gray of Britain, Scott Beattie of Britain, Sultan Hussain of Sweden, Maxime Chomathon of South Africa. Continuing on, Pierre Merchant from Ireland, Mitchell Byrne from Ireland, Cormac Dalton from Ireland, Oisin Gallen from Ireland, Fergal Curtin, also Irish, Stephen Scullion, another Irishman, and Bob Liking from the USA down the bottom. With Britain's Ben McMillan will be doing the pace work along with Josh Phillips of Australia. And they're just lining up behind the start, but first of all, Oisin is with our women's champion in the 1500 metres, Emily Mackey.
Joined by Emily Mackay, the winner of the 1500 metres. Emily, that was a real battle because the weather conditions and that wind, they're pretty strong, pretty hard, aren't they?
Yeah, they were. The weather actually started to look up. It was very nice for my warm-up, but then it came out from inside the warm-up track to rain and wind again, so it was definitely a tough battle, yeah.
Talk me through why it's so tough and how it's so tough.
It's just like feeling the wind on the back or on the front stretch, like the wind in your face. Like I wanted to run from the front today, and so I was like, I knew that there was going to be no one blocking the wind for me if I did that. So, I mean, it's just I like to practice just staying tough, and try not to focus on it. Just try to cut through it as best as possible.
And you've a busy few weeks ahead. Marseille up next.
Yes, Marseille, France on the 17th.
And what's the plan for the rest of the season? What are the aims? What are the goals?
I have a big goal of breaking 4 minutes and breaking 2 minutes in the 800. Hopefully later this season I want to train for a couple weeks and then get back to it the beginning of August, and then hopefully in September as well.
And finally, this meet, I'm sure you found it great to be part of. We've got a great crowd, we don't have great weather, but it's a special occasion.
Yeah, it's a great experience, honestly. I'm really enjoying my stay here. The meet treats us well, and yeah, great competition. It's a lot of fun. Very fun meet.
Emily Mackay, congratulations. That is Emily Mackay, the 1500 metres winner here in the Morton Stadium at the Morton Games.
Great to hear there from Emily Mackey, our women's 1500 metre champion. And straight back to the track, because the men's 5000 metres, the Albie Thomas family, Dublin Athletics board, men's 5000 metres are off and running. So we'll get straight on the track to follow that. We'll see what the pacemakers, what kind of pace they lay down. Will they be a bit more conservative given these conditions? There are some strong winds gusting around the stadium. The track is soaking wet. We'll see how things play out here. Will be Ben McMillan of Britain and Josh Phillips of Ireland, or of Australia, who will be doing the pacing duties. And we'll certainly be trying to keep a close eye on Darren McElhenney. He's in the middle of the pack there, and the inside in that, I don't even know what colour. There's so many colours on that Adidas kit this year, but it's an indigo, I suppose, vest with grey shorts and navy shorts. But he's right in the middle of the pack on that inside, the sky blue almost colours. And Darren McElhenney will be the favourite for this. And Gerard, we've seen so often different events. Darren McElhenney on his home turf is pretty lethal.
Absolutely, yeah. We saw here last year a real valiant effort from Ephraim Giddy, as mentioned, the hometown favourite. Really took it on by the scruff of the neck, but couldn't quite hold on, so maybe be a little bit more conservative this time around. But it is getting nicely stretched out very early on here, Cathal, so men are putting their markers down. They're setting their stalls out here for some fast times, and they're slotting into the positions they think they should be in at this stage of the race.
Some very strong marathoners in here as well, both from Ireland, of course. Stephen Scullion, who's the second fastest Irish marathoner of all time, and from Britain, Phil Seseman, 8th at the London Marathon, 2:10:23, and of course Scullion is a 2:09 man, so they'll be working on their track speed here. So it looks like a decent pace at the moment. They went through 600 metres in 1:36, which is obviously 64s, so 13:20 is the pace, and Darren McElhenney, I'm sure, will be thinking about something around 13:20, but it all depends on these conditions and maybe how the race plays out, because he won't want to lose the race in the attempt to run a fast time. But he's just sitting back now in about 11th place as we see him in that light blue greenish vest.
Yeah, 2:06 or 2:07 there through 800 for the pacemakers. Two pacemakers, of course, still out front. Right on pace and strung out nicely behind them. Let's just say that, just keeping an eye on Darren McElhenney there, still sitting in the middle of the pack, going to make his way up through, just in behind Ephraim Giddy.
Yeah, there is a lot of strength in this. Ephraim Giddy is just sitting in behind Darren McElhenney at the moment. but it is Tom Mortimer of Britain and Maxime Chaumaton of South Africa are the athletes essentially leading the pack in third and fourth at the moment in the black and the red singlets, but they've opened up a gap at the moment. Mortimer and Chaumaton. Mortimer he was the British University 5,000 metres champion. He's been in fantastic form this year. 13:33 he's run.
Yeah, Chaumaton 13:22 at his best, so certainly no slouches either of those two men. Like you said, they have just opened a little bit of gap on the rest of the field, so a little bit of work to do to close that down. We've got one man trying valiantly in behind there in the green and white singlet. Can't quite catch his number there, but certainly out front there's two men that are tracking the pacemakers, and that is Tom Mortimer of Great Britain and Maxime Chaumaton of South Africa so far. So taking off the laps here as we come down towards the home straight once again. Still quite blustery. They'll be hitting that headwind on the home straight as they get cheered on by the home crowd here in Morton Stadium. And we've got another man entering the fold in the green and white vest. I'll try and figure out who that is for you, Cathal.
That's Fingal Curtin of the All AC, who is slotted up there well. He finished third at the European Team Championships Division 3 just a couple of weeks ago in Poland, and he has come out of that pack, I think, sensibly and chased down these leaders. That is essentially Mortimer and Chaumaton are the two pacemakers still cutting it out up front, and they're going to come through 1,600 metres here, so this will give us a very good indication on how fast they're running. And it is quick for these conditions. 4:13, 4:14 on the clock. 64s works out to 13:20, so they've already taken, they're running pretty much 63 points here, which is probably unsustainable, if I'm honest, for these athletes in these conditions. Let's be honest about it, because I don't think they're going to run 13:05 or under 13:10 here, but that's what they've set out attempting to do. Is it too ambitious? And I think that's the reason that Darren McElhinney, Ephraim Giddy and others are quite content to just sit in the pack at the moment, as we see Tom Mortimer take up pole position on the inside there, just trying to save as much energy as he can. And then Maxime Chaumaton of South Africa just behind him, and Fingal Curtin, having made that initial effort, just probably needs to sustain it now and actually really work hard these few laps, because he's got contact and he will save a massive amount of energy if he can stick to Chaumaton there, just hang on to his coattails.
Darren McElhinney just starting to make a few small moves up through the chasing pack, and definitely on the back straight now he passes a number of athletes. He was tracking Cormac Dalton there, Mullingar Harriers, and Ephraim Giddy is stalking Darren McElhinney. Those two men move up into what will effectively be third and fourth, or fifth and sixth in this race, but McElhinney certainly the man making the move, and Giddy is tracking him all the way. Going to let him away with nothing here, but out front it is as is, Cathal. Pace still clipping away into that headwind now in the home straight once again.
Yeah, it looks like Mortimer is taking this on and applying the pressure, and I think Chaumaton and Curtin can't quite go with him, but this could be a long, lonely way home for Tom Mortimer out front as he's applying the pressure, and he is breaking clear, is the Briton. Can he keep this going? 13:33 this year. He's on track for something much, much faster than that, but there's a long, long way to go. We've seen Ephraim Giddy in this stadium last year really go for it, really apply the pressure, run a great race to 4K, but ended up blowing up and not being able to bring it home. Back in the main pack, Darren McElhinney, you can see him there, is leading that, and he is just alert to the threat here. He doesn't want to let this gap get any bigger. I think that might be Hamza Lamkartas back in fourth place at the moment, but we'll get a better look at him. But Darren McElhinney, I think, will be leading the pack. He's doing a lot of good work here on behalf of everyone in that main pack, just leading them back up. He's in fifth place as we look at him on the track, and he's creeping up slowly. Of course, fourth at the European Indoors over 3,000 metres this year was Darren McElhinney. He walked away from that race in tears. He had regrets. He thought he could have gone a little bit sooner, but he's running a similar kind of patient race here, just slowly creeping into it with every little lap that goes by as the final pacemaker steps aside. It is Tom Mortimer out front. He's got about a 30-metre advantage over Maxime Chaumaton, and Fingal Curtin, the two Irishmen, the three Irishmen are sitting there, four of them even, the Mullingar Harrier in there as well. That's Cormac Dalton. But Darren McElhinney has led the pack up. He's going to overtake Maxime Chaumaton, the South African 5,000 metre champion this year, and it's going to be Darren McElhinney. He has 6 Irish titles already, even though he's only 22 years old, Darren McElhinney. And now we have the hunter and the hunted, and Darren McElhinney is among the hunters who are trying to chase down Tom Mortimer. who won bronze at the NCAA or at the British 5,000 metre championships this year, just last weekend, and he is the reigning British champion, British University champion over 5,000 metres. So we know that Tom Mortimer can get it done in the championship setting.
Yeah, it's a similar scene to what we saw last year, Cathal, but it was Ephraim Giddy leading the charge this time 12 months ago, with the home crowd in delight, and they give a cheer for those three Irishmen who come through the line now. McElhinney, Giddy, Dalton, and Scott Beattie is tracking them, so he's going to use the pace set by those three Irishmen to drag him right up there, back up towards Tom Mortimer, whose lead I think is starting to dwindle, Cathal, as we go through by that 300 metre marker, the 1500 metre start. I think it's cut back down to around 25-30 metres. Darragh McElhinney is clipping along nicely, and those three men in Giddy, Dalton and Beattie are stalking him.
And I was just looking at the clock there as they went through 3,000 metres. Tom Mortimer was a couple of seconds under 8 minutes, so they're still on for something under 13:20. Darragh McElhinney was just outside 8 minutes leading that chasing pack, but the way they're running in that second pack, they've been slowly cranking up the pace, and you know that if there's any of them together, they will kick it in hard these last couple of laps. So I would expect Darragh McElhinney could even challenge his personal best of 13:17. Ephraim Giddy, if he holds it together, is going to obliterate his personal best of 13:44. Cormac Dalton, the Mullingar Harriers in that maroon singlet, his best is 13:40. He can destroy that. Scott Beattie then of Britain, he's run 13:30. He's on for a huge personal best. It seems unlikely in these conditions, but they are producing their best in spite of it. And now Darragh McElhinney has left the chasing pack behind and set off in search of Tom Mortimer, who has a huge target on his back, Ger.
Yeah, he's closed a half a second there on Mortimer in that 100 metres from the finish line around to the back straight, and Cormac Dalton just moves up into third, with Beattie slotting in front of Ephraim Giddy, who's happy enough to let the other lads do the work here, but that lead at the front is dwindling. It's down to 5 or 6 metres now, with Tom Mortimer trying to hold that pace ahead of Darragh McElhinney, but McElhinney looks all class here as he comes around into the home straight, and he has half the gap from this time in the last lap. Cormac Dalton still slotting in third place there from Scott Beattie and Ephraim Giddy. Tom Mortimer will hear the crowd urging on the home favourites here, who are chasing him down, hunting him down. Darragh McElhinney is going to come in towards the lead very, very soon from Tom Mortimer, who's done an awful lot of running in this race. McElhinney is up on his shoulder, Cathal.
And if they can run these last 3 laps in 63s, they will break 13:20, and Darragh McElhinney, if he can even run some 62s or less in there, may break his personal best in 13:17. But right now it's not yet about the time, it's about the win. It seems unlikely that Tom Mortimer will be able to come back, because he's expended so much more energy than Darragh McElhinney to get to this point, but they are locked together on the track, 20 metres clear of Cormac Dalton back and forth, and then Scott Beattie of Britain sandwiching between the two Irishmen there, with Ephraim Giddy back in 5th. They're all on for big personal bests. The top 5 could run personal bests here in these high winds, but Darragh McElhinney is just starting to apply the pressure. I think this isn't, when Darragh McElhinney kicks, you know all about it, because he has an astonishing change of gears, but this is just a few quick jabs just to see what Tom Mortimer has left, and it looks sure like he might be out on his feet.
Yeah, coming up towards 800 metres to go. Mortimer is holding on valiantly there, but that gap is starting to open up now as McElhinney smells blood and he starts to churn it up and go with him. Mortimer is just going to see Darragh McElhinney's vest leave him bit by bit, and Scott Beattie makes the move up into third place there from Cormac Dalton and Ephraim Giddy. So as we said, Tom Mortimer's got a lot of work to do. He's got an awful lot of running done so far leading out this race, and the gap just starts to move and move and move, with Darragh McElhinney striding down that back straight. He's going to have 650 metres to go here, and he's trebled that lead on the field. Scott Beattie is starting to make a big charge on the back straight as well. You can see just there in the background in that blue with the white stripes across it, and Cormac Dalton is going with him. Ephraim Giddy has been left behind slightly at the moment here with 600 metres to go for him. Can he stick with these guys and run, as you said, Carl, a personal best, and certainly a very fast time in these conditions?
And you know, Darragh McElhinney, we have seen him blow up before in races like this at the Europeans in Munich. He was in contention with 300 metres to go. He was legless coming home, but I think he looks absolutely full of running tonight. 13:17 is his lifetime best. He could be on to break that. He's going to be just outside 12. It's going to be around 12:20, 12:19 at the bell, 12:20 as he goes through. He needs a 57. It seems unlikely because he is hurting, but Scott Beattie is not done yet by any means. The Briton, 13:30 2:30 is Scott Beatty's best, and the sound of the bell has enlivened the Britain, and he has set off. He is blown by Tom Mortimer and Cormac Dalton. He is going after Darragh McElhinney, and I said about Darragh McElhinney's legs sometimes going in championships. He needs to pace it very sensibly here to get home. He has got a 15-metre advantage right now, but Scott Beatty is absolutely full of life, full of spirit, and full of running with 200 to go.
Yeah, that 200 from the bell to 200 was 31 from Darragh McElhinney, and he is suffering now, and Scott Beatty can smell it, and he is going to go by him in a breeze. Darragh McElhinney's head just drops. He is run out of legs. Cormac Dalton is going to see that too and make a big charge for home, and Scott Beatty comes into the home straight, has a look around him, and he is going to streak home with this one. He is opening up the gap down. 50 metres to go. Scott Beatty, that blue and white singlet, he is going to take this 5,000 metre title here. Cormac Dalton coming up behind him for a second. Darragh McElhinney holding on for third ahead of Tom Mortimer, just about 13:25:56 on the clock. As I said, Cathal McElhinney just pushed a little bit too early, too much too soon, and Scott Beatty bode his time, as did Cormac Dalton, so well, and those lads came home so strong. Brilliant run from Tom Mortimer in the end as well to hold on for that third spot, but brilliant run all around there. Darragh McElhinney, he gave it a go, not quite on the day.
Not quite on the day, but well done to Scott Beatty. You have to hand it to him, the best athlete in the race, who paced it so sensibly and came to life when it matters most at the belt. 5-second personal best, just over 5 seconds, and a win at a World Athletics Continental Tour bronze meet. That'll be worth a lot of ranking points to him. Well done to Scott Beatty. He was 13th at the NCAA 10,000 metres this year. But first man home tonight. Darragh McElhinney looks devastated. He takes defeats hard, no matter where they happen, at European or at Irish level or at a meet like this on the Continental Tour, and he will not take that well, but that's a sign of his ambition, and he'll be back. He's had a few difficulties this year, some illnesses. He isn't quite...
Cormac Dalton there with the champion. Dalton's going to have to shave well over 10 seconds off his 13:40 personal best as well, so fantastic run there for the Mullingar Harrier, based in the United States at the moment, but from the Midlands in Ireland here. So fantastic race in second place. As we just get a look at the lead that Darragh McElhinney had on the group here with a lap to go there. You're talking well over 30 metres, 35 metres from Mortimer and Scott Beatty. And Beatty, just as you said, once that bell hit, Pavlov went go, and he tore around that bend.
Jerry, you have to teach me about dog psychology. But yes,
Scott Beatty is a dog. We can say that for sure here tonight.
He certainly was. Look at him, you could smell blood. And Darragh McElhinney, I think Darragh McElhinney is generally runs his best races when he's in the position of hunter. When he's hunted and he's out there on his own just trying to hang on, it can get a lot tougher, and I don't think he enjoyed that last 200 at all. You can see the legs just went, but he'll be back another day, still early in the season. He'll be having his eyes on qualifying for the World Championships. But Scott Beatty, what a run. As you can see, there's nothing left in McElhinney. If you paid him $1 million, he couldn't have raised the kick there down the home stretch. He had absolutely nothing, but what a run by Scott Beatty. Big personal best.
Yeah, he did well to stay on his feet, in fairness there, Darragh, and fight his way down that home stretch. You can see the absolute agony that he's in. I just thought as well, with about 400 to go, that he just had lost his stride a little bit just as that fatigue started to kick in. But a brilliant, brave effort from him. He'll have learned a lot from that one, as he does every day. He steps out into the track here, but that Albie Thomas 5,000 metres going to the man from Great Britain, and that was Scott Beatty. You see him with his Albie Thomas Cup.
I hope he books some checked bags, because that's going to clog up. That'd cost you about 200 quid on Ryanair.
Absolutely.
Maybe he took the ferry.
So we're hopefully going to get a chance to chat with Scott very, very soon. Down with Oisín on the infield, and we can see hugs and embraces from meet director on the infield with Albie Thomas' family just on the right of that screen. And we're going to get down trackside to Oisín, who has got our champion Scott Beatty with him.
Check of your Twitter. I know you're a Coronation Street fan. That was quite dramatic. That was better than anything you'd see on the cobbles.
I mean, I haven't watched it in a few years now.
No, you watch it all the time. Come on.
I used to watch it all the time, but I wasn't expecting that at all today. I was sick last week for British Champs, and I ran anyway. Didn't really run that well, and then I really wasn't sure how tonight was going to go. So I think just I didn't have any pressure on myself. Just kind of like a free effort really of like coming out of being ill. So I think that probably helped. Like I wasn't nervous at all, just really relaxed. And I had Cormac Dalton who finished second. We've been over at Tulsa in the US together, so just having him there, I was kind of following him the whole way. Kind of just kept me going, and I mean we've been training together the last 2 years, so to have us both here, both running PBs, first and second, I think it's just like pretty cool. Yeah, really nice evening.
When Dara took off and opened up that big gap, what were you thinking?
Because that was the quickest I've gone through 3K before in a 5, and then it did slow down a bit after that. One star took off. I think we had a few 65s, maybe a 66 in there. I was just trying to stay as calm as I could until I was telling myself just get to 400 to go on trying to hold this pace and then pick it up. But I felt Cormac slowing down a bit, and he'd taken a few laps once he went round Ephraim, so I was like, I went past him with 2 laps to go, and I was trying to pick the pace back up there. Yeah.
And you have a master's in analytics. You had to do a lot of judging of the analytics here tonight, didn't you? Because the wind, the wet track, the fact that Dara took off maybe a bit further than you would have thought. So, you know, you had to stay calm out there, and you did. You must be happy with that.
Yeah, I think the thing that my coach out in the States has been kind of trying to drill into me over the last few years is it's like the longer you can stay calm and relaxed, the better you're going to do. And it's kind of, we always talk about staying calm in stressful situations, kind of whatever happens, and I was just trying to keep my head in. And again, like I say, just being right behind Cormac, it felt like a training session. Like we've been one behind each other the last 2 years, like well done on the day. So yeah,
well done and congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Scott. Thank you. Well done.
Great to hear from Scott Beattie there, Coronation Street fan. Certainly familiar with the Rovers return, and Rover return from the dead there to take the title call. See the men's high jump results on screen. Stefano Sotillo 2:16 to take the win on countback. Usas Bikes these 2:16 in second. Will Grimsey in third with 2:13 from Jeff Vermeer, and David Coulson 2:10, just outside his season's best. We're going to get the women's javelin results up on screen also here very soon before this final event kicks off, the magic men's Morton Mile. Joanne Van Dyke 61.06 from Madara Palamaika 57.04, and Becca Walton 55.99.
And the final event of the 2023 Morton Games is the Commercial Hygiene Services Men's Morton Mile. This is loaded with quantity and quality. There's 2 pacemakers, Timmy Crow and Seb Anthony, and then there's 14 athletes. They are Cathal Doyle, Evan Bronmodal, Johnny Davies, Tom Keane, Casey Comer, Jack Ansey, Paul Robinson, Nick Griggs, James Hennigan, Charlie O'Donovan, Owen Pearce, Jai Edwards, Ryan Mfalele, Adam Spencer, and that's everyone. Fastest in the field, on personal bests anyway, is Jai Edwards, a sub 350 man back in 2021, 349.27. He is the 2021 Australian champion. He's not in that kind of form this year. 336 is best so far for 1500 metres. Cathal Doyle will be very keen on the far right of your shot there to go one better than last year. He was denied by about a centimetre by Andrew Coscoran. We're almost underway, and we're off in the men's Morton Mile.
Yeah, you see there right on the inside, Cathal Doyle goes right to the front with pacemaker Timmy Crow leading it out. He'll take the first lap for sure. Doyle, as I said, just edged out of it this time last year here, but is in personal best shape. 3:37 very recently, last weekend, over 1500 metres, and he is certainly going with the pace here, Cathal.
Yeah, that's Ryan Mfalele has just slotted into third place there, but really first, because those are 2 pacemakers out front, and Cathal Doyle has gone with this. They are absolutely rocketing through the first 400 metres. I haven't even seen the clock, but I know by looking at them, and you can tell by how spaced out this field is, that they are moving very, very fast. Just looking back the field, look out too for Nick Griggs, the Irish vest, or the white vest there in the middle of the pack, 3:36. No Irish under 20 in history before him had broken 3:40. He's run 3:36. What can he do for a mile tonight? He's in the middle of the pack, but they pass 400 metres and it's lightning. 55 flat. The pacemakers go through, and Ryan Mfalele is already chomping at the bit to get things moving.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, a flyer of a first lap there, 55 seconds. Timmy Crow taking us through in there, and Mfalele sitting in behind that pacemaker from Cathal Doyle, and Jai Edwards tracking very, very closely indeed. As you said, Nick Griggs back there in the pack. He'll be looking, can he get through that 1500 metre split even quicker than Paul Robinson's national under-20 record of 3:35.77. Maybe not tonight in these conditions, but certainly there's a mile personal best up for grabs.
Yeah, Mfalele is keeping things honest at the front, and he's gapped Cathal Doyle. Cathal Doyle really has to keep working hard here because he's ahead of that pack and he's doing a lot of work for that pack at the moment. But can anyone go with Mfalele? Mfalele has run 3:32 for 1500 metres this year. He is an outstanding athlete. He was the 2022 African champion, or African silver medalist at the African Championships last year over 1500 metres, and we've seen a lot of kicks and burn-ups at the Morton Mile over the years, but at 1:54 he's gone through halfway. Could we see it sub 3:50 mile at the Morton Games? I doubt it, but who knows what this man is capable of as a 3:32 runner this year. He is out there alone against the elements. Will this backfire? It did for Darragh McElhinney by being brave mid-race. Can Mfalele carry it home?
Yeah, I think the elements is the key word there, Colin. He's going to feel great down this back straight as the wind blows his sails and he cruises, but the guys behind him are being a little bit more sensible perhaps. As you said, that pace, sub 3:50 pace here in these conditions is going to be a whole lot of work. Cathal Doyle is just usurped there by a couple of athletes. Jai Edwards is now leading that chase pack.
Yeah, along with Adam Spencer it is, and a fellow Australian, that white vest beside him.
Yeah, Adam Spencer there slotting in ahead of Doyle as well, but Doyle a little bit boxed in there, the Irish interest, but Jai Edwards leads that pack, and Mfalele here is storming it down the home straight. He is looking great. He gets the claps from the applause from the crowd. The crowd are looking back to see what is happening in their local favourites races, and it is all to play for here. Griggs starts to make a move up towards the bell here in that white vest in the Puma, the man from Northern Ireland.
And it is Tom Keane now has moved up the third, tracked by Griggs. Griggs is on for something very fast here, but let's look at the race up front, because Mfalele is really not wilting at all here. We haven't seen a solo effort like this at the Morton Games in many, many years. It's almost always close, but can he bring it home? Because this could be a long way home with a lot of big kickers in that pack as he turns into the big wind up this home straight. It is still Australia, the Australian leading the chase at the moment. That is Adam Spencer, but Nick Griggs is running probably the race of his young life, the 18-year-old back and forth at the moment. Can he get up for a podium position? Can Mfalele carry it home? It looks like he can. The South African, he is storming home here. Adam Spencer has given it everything. Mfalele is running through treacle down this last 50, but he's got enough to bring it home. What a run by Mfalele. South Africa takes the win, 3:54.50. Adam Spencer of Australia in second. And it is the youngster, the wunderkind of Irish middle distance running, Nick Griggs, who's run about 3:56 there, back in third.
Yeah, Griggs of course has run 3:56 indoors for the mile already, giving Andrew Coskin a real run for his money, the Irish record holder that is. But what a run there, really brave effort from Mfalele of South Africa. He just went with the pace and didn't relent. Didn't run out of legs, didn't run out of track. He got himself home safe and sound. He gives the crowd a huge applause, and we see 3:54.48. Griggs 3:55.73 on the clock for him, so that is an outright personal best for the man of Candor Track Club. He will be delighted with that one. His coach Mark Kirk will certainly be very impressed with that performance here, and it's just everything keeps going the right direction for Nick Griggs.
Yeah, Griggs is the fastest Irish under 20 at 1500 metres, a mile, 3k and 5k in history, and he's just broken his own Irish under 20 record with that 3:55 for a mile. What a future, but really what a present he has. But hats off to our champion Ryan Mfalele.
Yeah, we're going to get a look again there. You see with the bell lap what a lead there was out front there for Ryan Mfalele, the South African. As I said, 3:32 of 1500 this year, 3:55 was his previous best over the mile. Takes a full second off that one. He looks glorious down that back straight. Obviously started to hurt a little bit as he came into the home straight, but what can you do about that? He came home in 30 seconds and it was enough in that last 200 metres. All the work was done before that.
I'm sure he was tempted to look around up the home straight, but I think he resisted the urge. But I'm sure he could hear the footsteps coming, because they were really coming out of that pack. Adam Spencer leading it, Nick Griggs in there as well. I think that was Jack Ansey of Australia as well. It was in the mix, but it was very close. I think he was glad it wasn't 1630 metres, that's for sure, but he timed it to perfection, Ryan Mfalele. All class, all courage, and all strength to carry it home.
Cathal Doyle closed nicely well there. We see the head-on shot. Will have himself nicely back down, probably into the 3:56s easily again. possibly getting up for 4th place. Another brilliant run from the local man here, Clonmel Harriers AC. See Charlie O'Donovan, that Leeville vest just crossing the line. We see the crowd filling up the stand here and making their way home, or making their way down trackside to get a look at the champion of that men's Morton Mile, get their photographs, get their vests signed, their souvenirs, their tokens, their slices of pizza, and hit the road.
Yeah, brilliant win by Ryan and Falele. Big things ahead for him, I'm sure, this summer.
Absolutely. We see the thunder rolling in following the lightning we just seen on track, and we get a look at that cup and our champion Ryan and Falele.
We'll grab a word with him. Sunglasses arguably unnecessary on a night like tonight.
Oh, those floodlights here are bright, and so is his future, Cathal. I've seen him here on Wednesday afternoon myself. He was doing a session. He was jogging endlessly around the track as I was trying to figure out who it was, but as we just see that presentation, before we get a chat to Oisín, Cathal, we just get your thoughts on the evening today. Another fantastic Morton Games here. Obviously the weather did not quite play ball with us, but some fantastic performances. What was some of your highlights this evening?
I mean, I have to defer. I know it's an Irish bias, but Sarah Lavin's winning that 100 metre hurdles to run. It was 12:79, wasn't it? Second fastest time ever in dire conditions. Once again, you just wish she could get on a track, a dry, warm track. And what could she do? Derval O'Rourke's Irish record could be under threat. Here we are, the faces you didn't want to see. Faces for radio, but now we're on TV. But yeah, that was my highlight, Gerard. What about yours?
My highlight has now been on TV. That's my main highlight of the evening. No, I'd have to echo you there. Sentiments of obviously the home bias, but 12:79 these conditions from the 100 metre hurdler is really fantastic stuff, as I said, beating two Tokyo semi-finalists. But the magic of that mile always just leaves us wanting more, Cathal. The men's mile rounds off this evening, and it absolutely leaves us wanting more. So, Cathal, for myself and yourself, a fantastic evening here at 2023 Morton Games. We're going to hand out to Oisín, who's going to talk to our champion very, very shortly, and it's goodbye, and we'll see you next year.
Well, I'm with the winner of the mile, and that was a fantastic race. Ryan, tell me about it.
Yeah, it was a good one, yeah. Enjoyed it, yeah.
Tough conditions, because it's not easy to run in the wind and the wet track.
Yeah, I had it a little bit tough in the second half of the race with the last 2 laps, but the pacers did a very good job in the first 2 laps, they put us on the money, so I just had to maintain and try and go a little bit faster. But yeah, I'll take a PB all day, every day, so yeah.
Yeah, how satisfying is that? Because it's not the first PB you've had this season. You're in good form.
Yeah, it's not satisfying. I still want more, but as I said, I'll take it any day, all day, so yeah.
And you're on your way to the World Championships. You'll hope to make an impact there.
Yeah, for sure, so yeah.
And this crowd, this atmosphere, I know it's emptied out now, but when you were running, they were all behind you. They were making a lot of noise.
Yeah, shout out to the crowd. They played a big role, and thanks for them for supporting us.
And Ryan, just before I let you go, are you aware of how special an event this is, how special a race this is?
Yeah, I'm very aware. We just opened up the track. It has been redone, it's been new, and it got started fast last Thursday. So it's good that you got the legs running on this brand new track, which is amazing. So yeah.
Well, we hope to see you back. Well done. That is our winner of the Morton Mile, a very famous race. Stay with me for just one more interview, because we've got Nick Rigg. Nick, you came third. This is a special race, a special place. Talk me through your race.
It was good, it was alright. Again, you're never too satisfied, but 55, can't be too disappointed with that, given how it went. We went out hard, it was good, and then the wee group I was in, it was windy, so I just tried sitting, and we kind of slowed down a wee bit. I thought at about 400-600, I'm going to run something really quicker, and then we slowed for the next 400 or 500 metres until we hit the bell, really, and then I just tried sitting, and then, yeah, I came into the home straight, I got a wee bit of a barge, it was trying to come on the inside, and then it was kind of like straight in the wind. It was like, whoa, got that wee push into the wind, and then yeah, I was just kind of fighting in the home straight, and I felt quite good actually, but yeah, I would have wanted a bit quicker. I need points for World Seniors. I've got the standard, but I just need the quota points, so that should be decent enough. If I get one more good one under my belt, or 1 or 2 more good ones, I should hopefully have enough points to be in the quota. So yeah, decent day overall. Yeah, and obviously unbelievable to be here and be in the podium in the Morton Games, and the Morton Mile, such a prestigious race with world records set here before. So buzzing. I was 6th last year, so to get in the podium, it means a lot. Yeah.
And what about yourself personally? People maybe forget how young you are. You're getting better all the time, aren't you?
Yeah. Thanks very much. Yeah, I'd like to think so. So that's it. I'm just focused on improving and getting better, and being the best that I can be. And hopefully, I've got European Juniors this year, so that's the main one. And then after this, hopefully make a good transition into seniors. But it's a harder transition than people realise, and I'm fully aware of that. So I'm going to work hard in the next year to try and make that transition. Yeah.
And finally, I know you've talked about it before in this interview, but the Morton Mile, the Morton Games, it's just a little bit different, it's a little bit special, isn't it? It's a standout event.
Yeah, it's very special. Last year I was buzzing the race for the first time, and I'm buzzing to be back, and with a new track, it's quick. So yeah, I walked into the stadium and I was like, it's got a completely different buzz about it, look about it, because of the new track. And yeah, I'm buzzing to be here, and hopefully next year I can maybe come back and take the trophy. So yeah.
Okay, Nick, well done. Thanks very much for talking to us. So that's it from the Morton Games, where we've seen some great action. Remember, you can watch it all back very shortly. It will be up online and ready to go. Thanks for joining us in the wind and the rain here in North County Dublin for the Morton Games, but the weather did not spoil it. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.